SI Design and Printing. They're going to transform your sports organization athletic facilities into what you're looking for by enhancing the student athlete experience, boasting the brand, and honoring your past. They do that with banners, backlit signage, locker graphics, window graphics, fence mesh graphic designs, and so much more. If you need a refresh, SI Design is going to help you do that. Check them out online, sidesign.net. And hey, if you're a parent or a grandparent, they've got something for you as well, as SI Design is the leading provider of custom sports prints. They offer a variety of products, including posters, banners, canvases, and more. All you have to do is upload your high-quality studio or action shot, and SI Design will create the memory for you. For more information, all you have to do is go to their website, sidesign.net/sports prints, and you'll get all the information that you need. You can also find them on Facebook. Just type in SI Design and Printing. Give them a call, 254-405-9492, or you can email them, info@sidesign.net, and tell Kyle that's Sideline to Sideline. The Malakoff Tigers are looking for their first state championship, but standing in the way is the two-time defending Franklin Lions, looking for their third. Will they get it? Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the SI Design and Printing Sideline to Sideline Class 3A Division I Championship Preview / Watch Party Show. As if you're watching this video, that means you're in the room live. After this will be me, possibly Matt Diggs, a couple coaches possibly joining me as we're going to be watching this football game. And I think this is, and you hear me say this over and over when talking to Grant, when talking to Matt Diggs, when talking, to the coaches. I think this is legitimately one of the more interesting, or if not maybe the most interesting game of the week. You've got Franklin looking to win their third straight state championship, been here 4 years in a row. You've got Malakoff, who was here in 2018, lost in just a great game against Grandview, been knocking on that door. Last year, Brock stopped them in the state semifinals. This year, Malakoff got past Brock. Here we are. It's going to be a great one. And so how the show's going to work, if you haven't watched or listened to the other ones, I'm just going to have a bevy of guests for this show. Of course, Grant Goodwin, my co-host of Sideline to Sideline, will be joining me. Coach X will be joining me. Both head coaches will be joining me. Mark Fannin of Franklin, Coach Jamie Driscoll of Malakoff. It's an action-packed show, folks, and we do appreciate you tuning in. And again, if you're watching the video, you know that there's going to be a watch party for the game. If you're listening to the audio of this early this morning, and it's early, I am recording this right now at 3:30 in the morning. That's when we've got so many of these shows from 2A to 4A, and you only got so many times to do it because I can't do it during the day. If I do it during the day, I can't be doing the watch party because we've got 3 games today. Of course, we got Albany and Mart starting it off at 11, Franklin and Malakoff at 3, and then Gunner and Tidehaven finishing up at 7. And we're doing a watch party for each one of those. So I've had to, not sleep and get these done so that we can have them on time, especially for the Malakoff Yard just going right down the road. But for Franklin, I know a lot of fans are leaving early this morning. I think the send-off's like at 8 in the morning or something like that. And so for y'all traveling up, I wanted to make sure that we had the audio version of this for you so you can enjoy it while you're on the road. Safe travels to everybody. And also early Merry Christmas. You kind of almost, when your team's involved in this or you're doing this, where you're covering state, you kind of almost forget, oh yeah, Christmas is right down the road. As we're recording this right now, it's December 14th. But anyway, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, my co-host Grant Goodwin joins me, and we're going to talk a little bit about the state championship weekend and also talk about, of course, this game, Malakoff versus Franklin, right here on Sideline to Sideline State Championship Preview, brought to you by SI Design and Printing on L4 Media. Are you an athletic director or coach looking to make your locker room pop, looking to refresh your look, looking to redo your brand? Well, check out SI Design and Printing. They're going to transform your sports organization athletic facilities into what you're looking for by enhancing the student athlete experience, boasting the brand, and honoring your past. They do that with banners, backlit signage, locker graphics, window graphics, fence mesh graphic designs, and so much more. If you need a refresh, SI Design is going to help you do that. Check them out online, sidesign.net. And hey, if you're a parent or a grandparent, they've got something for you as well, as SI Design is the leading provider of custom sports prints. They offer a variety of products, including posters, banners, canvases, and more. All you have to do is upload your high-quality studio or action shot, and SI Design will create the memory for you. For more information, all you have to do is go to their website, sidesign.net/sports prints, and you'll get all the information that you need. You can also find them on Facebook. Just type in SI Design and Printing. Give them a call, 254-405-9492, or you can email them, info@sidesign.net, and tell Kyle that's Sideline to Sideline. On the Sideline to Sideline Championship preview shows, now joined by my host, Grant Goodwin. And before we break down all the games, Mr. Goodwin, just tell me, what are your thoughts on 2A through 4A this year, the state championship games? Some people think it's going to be some great games. Others think they're going to be a lot of blowouts. Where do you fall on that?
Man, there's some that could go either way. You know, there's going to be one or two that you kind of think maybe might out that are about and surprise you a lot, like Windthorst a couple of years ago. You know,
yeah,
I could foresee some games like that. What I really like is it's refreshing. There's a lot of new faces, some newcomers to the games.
Yeah, that's I think been the thing that I've enjoyed much, and I've been doing these interview with coaches. And I've talked to Tidehaven and I've talked to Toller, two teams that haven't been there. Tidehaven in a long time, Toller in ever. And the thing that I've got from both of them is, yeah, this is exciting. Yeah, this is awesome. But they also were like, I didn't realize how little of actual coaching I would get to do this week because of all the things that are around this game. And it's not even Coach Mullins from Toller was like, it's not even the interviews. It's the paperwork. It's the things like that, things you wouldn't think a coach would have to deal with on this week.
Yeah, especially if you're a man, you got to hope you have help.
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing. This is as Coach Mark Fannin said from Franklin. This is when you know how good your coordinators are, when you basically have to leave them in the coach's room and just assume that they're going to be able to take care of things. One of the things that has been a big conversation, and it always is at this time of year, is the fact that it's in Dallas, and especially this year because there are so many games where one opponent is sleeping in their bed the night before, and then the other opponent is traveling 5, 6, 8, 9 hours, either overnight or trying to get up early in the morning. I still contend that with kids, it's not that big of a deal.
No, sure, you'd hate to get thrown out of your routine, but yeah, as 15, 16, 17-year-olds, how much is really a routine when, they're in such good shape? They're pretty bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when they need to be. So they're not like you and I where, they hurt. Sneezing or coughing or something. So I don't think it's a big of a deal. Is it the idea situation? Maybe not, but I don't think it matters that much. And everybody's going through the same stuff. I know, some schools are closer to Arlington than others, but let me tell you, when they walk through that main entrance, when the bus pulls through and they go into the locker rooms, nothing else matters.
What is your favorite part of this week?
Well, it's really, I love the games, obviously, but it's the week of the few days leading up to the game, seeing all the fanfare online through social media, through some of the chat channels, the message boards, seeing everybody go back and forth. And it really kind of gets you fired up to say, who's going to be eating crow on Saturday or Friday or whatever, and that's just fun. And a lot of it's good natured ribbing that I like seeing, but I really like seeing those final seconds kind of click off the clock and a team getting its first state championship ever. That's pretty darn cool too. And then being in the press conference room when those first time winners are doing their press conference, that's pretty special as well.
Yeah, I can remember a couple years ago when Franklin finally, broke through and they're winning that state championship, and they were up enough that it started to kind of soak in the fourth quarter. And I can remember they had a shot of Fannin, and I even talked about it to him about it today. And he was looking up at the scoreboard, and you could kind of see in his mind he was starting to add up. Oh wait, we're about to win this. Like, there's no way now Gunner can complete this comeback. And just the look on his face, and just as he even said it, there was some of it was a relief, but just the finally winning one for a program that had been knocking on the door for so long.
Yeah, and you got to think if he gets it done this year, this would be 3 in a row, and it would be complete elation, probably mixed with a lot of relief. Franklin themselves had a lot of pressure on them with the big winning streak this year. And I guarantee you, everybody in Franklin expects to be hoisting that state championship trophy. So him, Coach Fannin and that staff and those kids have a lot on their shoulders, so I think it'll be, elation, but it'll also be a lot of relief when the clock hits 4 zeros and if they come out the winner.
Of the week, 3A Division 1, Malakoff 15-0, Franklin 14-1. And I feel like, I was saying this with Matt Diggs when we were recording our part of this, and I feel like I'm saying something bad, and I'm really not. But Grant, after watching that Malakoff Brock game, I don't know. I'm so confused about that game, because honestly, Brock felt like the better team. Malakoff took the turnovers, and that's what you're supposed to do. But now going into Franklin, I don't know if Malakoff is as good of a matchup against Franklin as maybe I thought 2 weeks ago.
Well, I thought Malakoff was as good of a team as Brock. I think there was times where Brock maybe looked like they were the better football team, but as far as special teams and defense, I think Malakoff just took that game away from Brock, especially in the special teams. And you got to remember that's part of the ball game, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why we don't just put the ball down at the 25. We kick, we punt, we return, we block. I mean, and that and forced turnovers. These weren't just Brock just dropping the ball.
Good point.
I mean, these were forced turnovers that just stout Malakoff defense forced. I think Malakoff. There was times that I thought, early in the game, Brock got up by 10 points and was kind of driving after that. There was times when you thought maybe Malakoff's done, but no, man, that defense just got up and they played harder and harder. And then when you got Mike Jones at quarterback, that guy's a threat from anywhere to beat you with his arms or his legs.
Well, and you saw it so many times in that game where on first and second down, Brock would just get pressure like crazy and either sack him or force him out of something. And then on 3rd and 12, he'd get 15 yards like it was nothing. Yeah. Now for Franklin, we joked about it earlier in the year, and it was all kind of, funny. Hey, they're throwing, but they're legitimately throwing threat now. Court Lowry last week went 11 of 13. It's now not just hey, we're going to throw once a quarter just to keep you honest. I think
it's
with
not
Lowry,
a novelty anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not a novelty anymore. And he plays baseball, and his accuracy is on point. And it's crazy how when you see Jaden Jackson all by himself with nobody around him for 30 yards, it's like, yeah, I know you have schemes and discipline. And can somebody not always have an eye on Jaden Jackson when he's running a route? But to me, that just makes Franklin that much more dangerous.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing that makes Franklin so much more dangerous offensively is the emergence of Devin Hedrago. Man, the last 4 to 6 weeks, that kid's really stepped up, not just running the football out of the backfield, but also in special teams. I saw him have a couple of just killer punt returns against Lorena that just kind of broke Lorena's back when Lorena thought they were going to maybe try to flip the field. And Hedrago just ran the ball back over into plus territory. So I think he's really one of the reasons that Franklin uh, looks so much more scarier offensively over the last month than they have at any other time. Now, their defense, Malakoff, we talk about Mike Jones, but Jerry and Hall, that running back, is something special too. He had
Yeah.
a pretty good game against a really good Brock defensive front.
And he was shaken up midway through that game.
Yeah, he was, and hopefully he comes back. They'll need Jerry and Hall at full strength to beat Franklin. If he is, then game on this one.
So give me your pick. Who do you think wins? This has been the toughest one for me to pick.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth. Both defenses are great. Both have tons of speed. Malakoff is really big up front on both sides of the ball. Were you not impressed to see how big they were, especially on the offensive line against Brock?
Yeah, and just not only the size of them, but then just how like athletic and how good they move. And then Daniel Norrell on the defensive line. I mean, that dude, he's not as big as he plays, but that's a compliment because it just looks like it took. And we know how great Brock's offensive line was this year. And at times they were literally chipping one guy and then rolling him into a double team, and he was still making the plays, like the interception that basically sealed the game for Malakoff.
Yeah. All things being said, I'm going Franklin in this one. I think, this game's going to come down to Malakoff's defense. I really do. I think Malakoff will be able to run or move the football on Franklin. But I think it all comes down to Malakoff's defense. Can they hang in there for 4 quarters like they did against Brock? Brock's just as physical as Franklin is. It just, at some point, you feel like Franklin just pulls you down, gives you the death roll, and then takes you underwater, And I kind of feel like Franklin might do that, but this is going to be well into the 4th quarter. This is a 1-possession game, I think. Somebody's going to make the big play. And whoever does that, and who doesn't turn the football over or have tons of unnecessary penalties, wins this game. Right now, I think it's Franklin in a close.
Football, it's something that is a Texas favorite. Often it's prioritized above so much in our culture here in Texas. Coach Jake Johnson. He's the head football coach for the Mill South Texas high school football team. He's actually quite an imposing figure.
Run it.
But
No
Cancer didn't care. It didn't care that he was a big, strong guy. It didn't care that he has a wife and kids. It didn't care that he was somebody's son. Cancer didn't care that he is a coach trying to help his football players become young men.
Dogs! Go.
Cancer didn't even care about his faith. When he received his diagnosis a little over a year ago, his wife and kids surrounded him in love and support. His parents immediately got in the car from Georgia and drove out to be with him and his family. His in-laws also came to help out around the house as well. Surrounded by help, love, and support, instead of fear and worry, Coach Johnson chose to move forward, walking in and relying on his faith.
I don't know how good of a job I did, but I can tell you this. It certainly allowed me to speak truth into them that their value is not in winning a football game.
Parents Mark and Rhonda Rodriguez. It's been amazing watching this little firecracker grow. You always put your heart into everything you do and are amazing at everything you do. You will continue to do great things, and we can't wait to see you one last time out there cheering the Franklin Lions on. Go, Marissa.
Terry Bennett back here on the Small Town Society State Championship Preview Show. Malakoff versus Franklin. I'm now joined by the head coach of the Franklin Lions, Coach Mark Fannin. And Coach, well, first off, congratulations. Another state championship appearance. I mean, you're starting to make this look a little too easy, Coach.
Yeah, it's we're definitely blessed for this opportunity again this year. Straight contribution to these kids that come out and go through the grind each and every year. And these coaches I got, I've said it 1,000 times. I think I got the best coaching staff in the world. They understand the process. They're ate up with it, And that right there goes a long ways.
Well, and you and I were talking off the air, and we were kind of joking about, this is the week that as the head coach of the team, you're not getting to do as much as you might normally on a normal week because you're just getting pulled in so many different areas. And you specifically said this is when you trust the coaches in the coaches room to know that they're going to be doing what they need to do. And you've talked about it so much with your staff. That's something you don't have to worry about at all.
Yeah, this week is very busy with the paperwork, and you got interviews, and it's something that you really got to put a lot of trust in your guys that they're going to get the job done. And like I said, I got one of the best staffs in the state. I truly believe that, and they do a good job getting ready to play, getting the kids ready to play, and coming up with a great game plan each and every week. And this week is no different.
All right, you're taking on a Malakoff team that's kind of been like what y'all were until y'all finally broke through and got that state championship. They've always been right around the semifinals or the state championship, but they haven't quite got that win yet. When you look at the film, what are your thoughts on them?
Yes, they're very, very athletic, big, physical. Their quarterback play from Mike Jones is really good. He's a great ball player, and he's surrounded by some great athletes. Coach Driscoll has done a great job with those guys, getting them ready to play each and every year. You can tell they're coached very well. They play with very high effort each and every Friday night, and they're there for a reason. So it's going to be a great game, and we're looking forward to it.
I mean, in a lot of ways, when you look at your two teams, maybe not style-wise, but just how y'all go about doing things, y'all kind of mirror each other.
We do. We're very similar. They like to run the football, and obviously we like to run the football as well. So it's going to be it's going to be a physical game, and the more physical football team, I think, that makes the least amount of mistakes will come out with a win.
Yeah, you and I have joked through this season, y'all thrown the ball more, but it's become not just a joke or a once in a while. It's become a legitimate weapon. And to me, Court Lowry is just, as the year has gone on and on, his accuracy is just amazing.
He's come such a long ways, and I couldn't be more proud of him, of how he's grown into the role that he is for this team. Not only a player, but the leadership he brings to this team. Each and every week it just gets better and better. He's done an outstanding job. I think I don't know, but we threw the ball 13 times against Edna. It could very well easily be a school record. He had a really good game, and it's always nice when you can have that in your back pocket when you're running the type offense we do. You got a guy with Court that I trust with the ball in his hands. He's making really good decisions right now, and his accuracy is really good. And we got some receivers that can go catch the football, and some athletes that can go catch the football. So that alone, adding to our running game, just helps us out tremendously, and it's been a big advantage for us this year.
One other player I wanted to bring up, and it's a guy in Braden Smith who has been there all year, but I was rewatching some of the Lorena game, and Braden Smith's blocking, it just continues to amaze me what he does at the point of attack for your offense.
Braden Smith is one of the toughest, meanest guys I've ever coached. He's definitely he's a football playing machine. He's eating up with it. He loves every second. Very, very relentless, and just a great guy to have on your side, especially when you're trying to run the ball behind him. He's kind of changed the way our mentality, our mindset as a whole on the offensive line. The style of football he plays, and all these other guys, that are beside him, they try to match that mentality. And when you can get a group of guys like that on the offensive line that are playing relentless and they're mean, they're tough, they're finishing blocks, that right there alone is going to win you some football games. And I couldn't be more proud of Braden. We lost him last year in week 4 due to a knee injury. and he missed the remainder of the season. He had his surgery, he rehabbed well, and I couldn't be more happy to get back to this game for him, so he's able to participate and do his thing.
Are you a coach that has a big speech planned for Thursday, or at this point these guys just know what they need to do?
Yeah, I'm not a big guy that gets a big long speech ready. These kids right now, they know what to expect and they know how to play. They expect to win, and when you get that, you don't have to. There's not much motivation to give these guys. These seniors on this team have played in a lot of football games. Some of them, like there's 5 of them that played for me as a freshman, and this will be their 63rd football game in their high school career. So, that alone goes, and that experience alone goes a long ways. And, it couldn't be, they've finished each of their high school career at the biggest stage of a high school player, playing at AT&T Stadium, having the chance to win a state championship. And they've earned that right. Their work ethic, their style of play, and their buy-in to what we do here in Franklin is pretty special. It's been pretty special to watch, and that's the whole team. But it's something that we're looking forward to, and so they can go out and see what happens on their last high school football game.
Are you a Franklin Lion fan looking for some game day gear? Well, then check out shopsmalltownsociety.com, where Small Town Society has the Franklin football gear you want. Also, you can check them out in Franklin at the Messy Nest Studio. That's located at 204 Alley Street right there in Franklin. They not only have game day gear, they have holiday gear right now. And hey, you've got all those Christmas parties coming up after you're celebrating that Franklin State Championship. They have sweaters, they have T-shirts. All of it looks cool. They have the Santa babies, they have Christmas trees, they have inspirational. They also have celebration of the state of Texas. Like I told you, man, they have it all at Small Town Society. Right now, if you're online, use that discount code, free shipping in the promo code, and guess what you get? That's right. You get free shipping on all retail orders. Again, find them online at shopsmalltownsociety.com. Find them in Franklin at the Messy Nest Studio and event venue. And we do appreciate them being the sponsor of not only the Franklin Football Show, but also our state show, Sideline to Sideline, this year. This part of the Sideline to Sideline State Championship preview show is being brought to you by Montana Ridge Outfitters. This is the perfect gift. We're about 10 days away from Christmas, and this is the perfect gift if you have a hunter, a fisher, an outdoorsman or woman in your life, and you need a gift idea this late. This is the perfect one. You love hunting and the outdoors, and so do we. And that's why we've created a way for you to enjoy it every month with Montana Ridge Outfitters Shirt of the Month Club. Subscribers get a new shirt with one of the top hunting ranches, guide services, or dealers from the United States and around the world. With this shirt style of your choice, members receive a 5x7 color card that has pictures, information related to each month's subjects. In addition, our website features previous month shirts as well as MRO merchandise. Go to MontanaRidgeGear.com and select a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription and begin receiving your packages in the mail the following month. Now, as a member, you will not know what month's subject will be until you receive it in the mail. Thank you for being one of us, and we look forward to supplying you with next month's shirt. Again, that's MontanaRidgeGear.com. Terry Bennett back here on the Malakoff versus Franklin preview show. I now have the pleasure to be joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Coach Jamie Driscoll. And Coach, first off, congratulations back into a state championship. What are your overall thoughts?
Man, it's been a great year and a fun ride. It's we got a really great group of kids, and just fun to be around. And man, they put the work in, and they set themselves a goal, and fortunately we've hit that goal. So it's been a fun season. Hopefully we can end it on a fun night.
Last week, you beat Brock in just one of the absolute best playoff games of the year, 38-31. You avenged that loss from last year. It was an odd game because, I mean, y'all did everything that you needed in each facet of the game: offense, defense, special team with turnovers. Just one of the best games of the playoffs.
And it was a strange game because it was a major defensive battle, and the score don't show that. Their defense was unreal. I mean, unbelievable, really, really good. And then their offense, what the things they do, they're really, really good. They got great players, and their O line. I'm sorry, the O line and D line are really, really just really, really dominant up front. And our kids just kind of, they caused some turnovers and made some big plays defensively, kind of got us going. And then we made a few plays on offense, and we just kind of kept battling, showed a lot of grit. And we still haven't figured out how we beat Brock, but we did. And hats off to Coach Mathis and their kids, because they're a really, really good program, really good team.
Malakoff, y'all have been knocking on this door for a long time. You made the state championship a few years ago, losing to Grandview. What is it about this team that has got you to the state championship?
Man, I've been asked this, and I've thought about this a bunch. We've had great leadership this year. We've Chauncey Hogg and Mikey Jones and Doc Renberg and some of those guys. They've been really, really good leaders. I'm not saying we didn't have leadership in the past, but these guys have really gone above and beyond as far as stepping up, being leaders. They're not afraid to be the bad guy at times, and just they kind of coach the guys on the field when we're not around, kind of thing. And so that may be a big difference. We've got a lot of high character kids just worked really hard, and we got a lot of talent, and it's just been one of those things that's kind of came together well. I will say we haven't been very fortunate on injuries. I mean, we've been really beat up and lost some kids this year injury wise, but we've had kids step up and play in that role, and it's been really good.
Well, you brought up the fact that being a leader on the practice field, but it's also being a leader in the classroom, being a leader in the locker room, being a leader outside, at the local hangouts, holding each other accountable.
They hold each other accountable. Of course, I'm not around on the weekends and probably don't want to be, but they really do around here. And like you said, the classroom and things like that. I think that they're a tightly knit group. They hang out together a bunch on the weekends. I think that kind of carries over when the coaches are not around. So, all that kind of runs together, and they know, our kids know who to look for and look to when those times come.
Your playoff run this year, you've seen a lot of different things, the passing game of Winsboro, the total game of Grandview, but you're playing a team in state in Franklin. They do what a lot of teams don't do, and that's that offense and that ground and pound. When you look at the film, what are your thoughts on the Lions?
Well, obviously they're very, very good at what they do. I mean, Coach Fannin, he's came in there and done, an exceptional job with his program, and those kids obviously believe in what they're doing. And so, we haven't seen a really good, the slot T lately. It's been a few seasons. Now, we've seen some, but they weren't obviously great teams. And so it's going to be a challenge for us. Coach Watkins, the defensive coordinator, and his guys have came up with a great game plan. Our kids hopefully will fly around and try to stop those guys. But their running backs are really, really good. Their O-line gets after you, and they're like, that's what I mean by they're really, really good at what they do.
And then they're throwing the ball the last few games, and that's something we haven't seen from Franklin.
I think I don't know this, but they had the other back that went to Baylor this past last year, and obviously he was a force, and so they have the Jackson kid. I think that's his name, number 1. He obviously is an exceptional player, and number 8, and so I think it's made them be a little more diverse and just having to mix it up a little bit. I think, and that makes them better. I think they're we didn't see them last year other than on TV, but from what we hear, they're as good or better than they were last year, and they've just kind of become a little more diverse as far as offensively and have more weapons, if you will. And they've thrown a little bit more obviously than they did last year for sure. They got a good little quarterback that runs the show there, and again, they're really good at what they do.
Offensively, what do y'all have to do against their defense?
Well, we gotta execute when we get the ball, and we gotta hit our plays when it's time to hit them, whether it be the run game or the pass game. their defense, they play really hard. They're really good at stopping the interior run. And, it kind of goes hand in hand with their offense. They're not real fancy. They just get after it and play and do what they do well. And so, their offense a lot of times is their best defense at times, because it just keeps your offense off the field. And so all got to go hand in hand. We got to try to get the ball in our hands some. And then when we get it in our hands, we got to execute. We can't turn it over for sure.
Exactly.
They've gotten a lot of turnovers, and we can't turn it over.
And you and I were talking about this off the air before we started. This is a weird week. This is not like any week that's going to be normal for you as a head coach. Right. Going through it once, are you better acclimated to it now?
We want to think we are. And it's even changed since 2018, all the extra stuff you have to do as far as the AT&T and UIL and all that stuff. There's more now than it was in 2018. The one thing that may help us a little bit is we had to do this last week, playing at the Star on Thursday. And so, we can kind of do it back-to-back weeks. I mean, these kids here were, in junior high whenever we played in 18. And so it helps us coaching-wise a little bit. But, we've got to put all that aside. The bottom line is, and you can talk about AT&T and Cowboy Stadium and state championship and all this, is when we go get on the field, it's a 100-yard field just like we have here. And it's going to be a football game played, whether there's 10,000 people there or 10 people there. It's a football game. It's got to be played, and we're playing against a good team, and hopefully Franklin's playing against a good team, and we're going to get after each other, and all the lights and all the glitter and stuff is fun, but it's, again,
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Hey, Franklin fans. A big shout out to Rod's Designs of Franklin, Texas. Contact Rod's Designs for all of your custom Franklin apparel and spirit gear. At Rod's Designs, all of our items are made locally in downtown Franklin, Texas. When you order from Rod's Designs, you're supporting local small businesses. Contact Rod's Designs at 979-557-2420. Go, Lions.
Terry Bennett back here on the state championship preview shows. I am now joined for our yearly State of the Union address by the man, the myth, the legend, Coach X. Yes, we keep trying to tell people you're a real person. Coach X, how you doing, buddy?
Well, I think you ruined the real person with me when you found out your computer had a voice changer. So
that was great, dude.
I'm still mad that Grant gets to sound like evil, and y'all made me sound like a eunuch in a harem.
Okay.
One time that I meant to be on there.
So I've got to pull back and tell people what happened on that. I mean, I knew I'd had him. I just had never told Grant. Didn't really think about it, having a spot for him and stuff. And one of the nights we were recording, in fact, that's the first night that the playoff tree showed up. I just accidentally hit the button as I was moving my hand to move, to switch a file and everything. And so for like 5 seconds, he starts talking like that. And that we realized playoff tree. And then I let him pick your voice, and I thought he was going to be nice, and he picked the weirdest voice for you. So you sound like a little person who might, offer candy to kids in the van, while playoff tree, which should be, you would think, happy and joyous, sounds like he's about to eat our souls.
I don't think there's a lot of little people that offer candy to kids in vans, because I don't think they would be the scariest. Like if a little person like was like, "Hey kid, you want some candy?" I mean, like they could easily probably just push that guy down and run away. Like if the guy, and the logistics of a little person getting a kid into a van. I mean, I guess it would depend on the age of him, but like I think a little person would be a good abductor, because I don't think kids would be afraid of him.
That's a good point.
As like a regular person.
Hey, it's the Coach X. I was gonna say it's the Coach X G.I. Joe. Now you know moment as you're helping kids not be kidnapped by little people,
whether they're big or small. Run away, no matter what.
And the sad thing is, it's not like we planned any of that conversation. That's what happens when, we always joke on the air like we're all fighting, but you said it best one day. Our text threads between me, you, and Grant, we can go silent for 4 months, and then we'll just get a random like, "Hey, have you ever thought about putting a pineapple up somebody's butt? What would happen?" And we'll go for 2 days on that, and then we won't talk again for 4 or 5 months.
I think that was a side conversation you and Grant had. I don't remember that one.
Well, you're the one that sent the pictures. You in Playoff Tree?
No, I don't think so. Playoff Tree scared me, dude. Like that was really like that was a biblical voice.
It really is.
And a bad biblical. Oh, it was bad. Like if I asked any kid to say, "Hey, like in my class, like, hey, what do you think the devil sounds like?" I'm pretty sure they would get close to Grant. And then the playoff tree, or Grant as the playoff tree, not just Grant, but Grant is the playoff tree. I'm sorry, I ruined that illusion for everybody.
Well, no, I was about to say. So the funniest thing about that is you can tell Grant forgets that we're doing on video, because this whole time he was doing the tree, and he said something after the second show was like, "You think they know it was me?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe not the audio listeners, maybe not." But he goes, "Well, why do you think the others?" I'm like, "Well, Grant, you're talking on the mic." And he was like, "I got to stop drinking so much during the shows." He had totally forgot about that, man. He legitimately just forgot that the camera had him there the whole time. But anyway, let's talk some state football. What is your overall thoughts on 2A through 4A? The games this week. Matt Diggs and I were talking. We did his segment, and he kind of feels like there's going to be a bunch of blowouts. Do you feel that way?
I'm taking the exact opposite of Matt of Mike Duggs. I can promise you that. But that guy knows nothing of what he speaks. Like I heard the other day, he was going to get a henna tattoo that said "forever" on it. Like that's how stupid that guy is. So
that took me a minute. I like that. Well played, sir.
But I think, we say this kind of every year, like the games that I think are going to be really close end up being one-sided, and the games that I'm like, "Oh man, these guys will whip them," end up being, where it's like one possession games. Like I remember last year, I thought Wimberley and Carthage would be, I knew Carthage would win.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be like a 14, point game, and maybe, Carthage scores with, late in the fourth quarter to go up 14 or maybe 21 points, something like that. And then Carthage just throttled them. Like, the game was like 42-0 or 42-7 or something like that. And I was just like, wow, this was a big letdown. But then, who was it? Bernie was up last year, and then China Spring came back and won.
Yep.
That was a good game. And I kind of thought China Spring would control that, pretty much the whole game. So, the one thing I've learned from doing this show and then just watching ESPN is nobody knows. Everybody thinks that they know, but nobody knows. Grant says it, y'all say it. You're dealing with high school kids. You never know what's going to. Kid that was fine at practice yesterday, his girlfriend broke up with him now, and now he's mad and he doesn't want to play, and he's out there pouting around, and then his attitude rubs off on some other kid. Somebody's worried about him. It's just, you never know. And I chose to make that my life, which shows how stupid I am. But I think there's some really good games, especially I think the best game potentially is the Malakoff Franklin game. I'm really excited about that one. And then I think the 4A D2 game is Gilmer and
Belleville.
And I think that's going to be a good one too. So the other ones, I guess I do kind of agree with that other guy. That I think they have potential to get out of hand, but who knows? Again, like I said, nobody knows. We don't know. I don't know. I pretend that I know, but I really don't know. Even though I did go like I said, 29-3 that 1 week of the playoffs, and then so I knew 20 more times or 29 times out of 32. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, and in a year this year where it seemed like from about week 2 on, there seemed to be 3 upsets per round from 2A to 4A. Yeah, you actually did pretty good. Now, let me ask you, somebody, we always joke about, but you have been at this game. You have won at this game. I've been talking to coaches for the state championship preview shows, and of course, talking to like Mark Fannin of Franklin. It's old hat now. I mean, he's as a head coach, he's never not played in a state championship game. But talking to the couple of the other coaches that this is their first time playing as a head coach at this level, and a couple of them, this is their first time, period. The biggest thing they've told me is they're shocked at how little of football they're actually getting to do this week because of everything else, the interviews, the paperwork, the UIL, all that kind of stuff. When you've been here, have you seen it that same way?
Oh, yeah. It's, you're doing interviews with, it's really cool. Don't get me wrong. You're doing interviews like Craig Way and stuff like that. But all the additional stuff and travel and getting, we had to take charter buses and you had to get that all lined up, and who gets the charter bus, the football players, the cheerleaders, and everybody that comes back to you, and the band wants a charter bus. And where's the football coaches? Let the band get the band a charter bus. And then, fan bus, all that stuff. And then, you got interview, and you got to get them a 2-deep roster, and you got to get them the last year we went, I started making it a phonetic roster because they mispronounced a bunch of our kids' names. So I made up an old phonetic roster, and then a 2-deep roster, and then a special teams roster. And I was like, man, special teams roster, dude, we're just grabbing kids and throwing them out there. And sometimes you get in the lower levels of football, sometimes kids dying on the sideline. You just like, go run down on the kickoff, your L4, go. And so you got to deal with all that. And then the crazy thing was, if you're those middle games, like whoever's doing the TV now, Bally's or whatever, but it was like, all right, you get 30 minutes to warm up. That's what you get, and you usually, at a regular football game, like if the game starts at 7:30, you get there at, 5, and you do that. Kids walk around the field, and you start getting taped, and you have your meetings, and then you go do this, and you run through your pregame, and you do this, you do that, and then you go back in the locker room, and then maybe meet with the quarterback or linebacker or something again, and then you get the last little, head coach goes in there and, we're going to beat them, and let's go out and roll. And that's like a 2-hour thing. And sometimes some coaches, it's a 2.5-hour thing. And they're like, nope, you get 30 minutes, guy. You can't get in the locker room until this time, and you can't do that. And so, I remember the year we went, or first time I went, we were, doing like high knees and stuff in the parking lot underneath the stadium, and getting warmed up, and tried to save some time there. But remember, Wednesday before we left, we went through our crash course pregame routine just so the kids would have some type of idea of what we were doing and why we were doing it, so we could save and be more efficient. And then you have to figure out how to win the state championship between all that and everything too. And when we played, there was 4 games on Thursday.
Yep.
And the one, and so, then they're trying to smash 4 games in on a Thursday, but then there's really not a great way to do it. The TV exposure and the way that how the kids get it done is great for the kids, and there's not a perfect way to do it. You have to play 4 games on Thursday, or what they're doing now, which I think is better. But then those guys that are playing on Wednesday, that 2A team, that goes back and forth, like really you only get 2 days to practice for the state championship game. And that can be rough too. And if you're coming from far away, you might not get that much. Like I looked and saw, Toller's playing, and Toller's not very far from AT&T, and Timpson's, it's a day's drive. But I remember that one year, and I saw the Canadian guy talking like, they were playing at 10 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. Well, they're 8 hours away from AT&T Stadium. And he was like, yeah, we practiced Monday and Tuesday. We got up early and drove to Wichita Falls Wednesday and stopped and had practice there and then had dinner and then stayed in a hotel room and then had to get up. I was like, gosh almighty. I'm glad I didn't have to do that.
Well, you bring up a good point, because that is something that this year, because of the matchups, people are starting to do the whole, well, why is this not being rotated more? Because when you look, and we're not covering the higher classes, but, North Shore's used to it, but you've got Duncanville, DFW versus Houston, DeSoto, DFW versus Summer Creek, which is Humble, which is Houston, Aledo versus Smithson Valley, which is basically north of San Antonio, South Oak Cliff versus PNG, Port Neches Grove, Anna versus Chapel Hill. All of those, one team is sleeping in their beds on the night before the game, and the other team, if they're going to come up the day of, they're going to have to get up really, really early to do it.
Yeah, well, to the people that I say are crying about that, build a better stadium in Houston or San Antonio, because y'all can say that NRG and the Alamo Dome and all that stuff is as nice as AT&T Stadium, and I'd say you're a liar, sir. I mean, that's the nicest stadium in the state. I mean, that's just bottom line. It is. And that's where it should be. I mean, that's $1 billion facility. And I've played in all three of them. And it's by far, I mean, it's 5 to 10 times nicer than the other two.
And people don't understand when we say this. You can say what you want about Jerry Jones as a Cowboy general manager and some of his other stuff, but his people that he hires knows how to handle everybody, to do it with nicety, with class. I mean, I was at the last one that was at Houston, and the games were perfectly fine, and the people were perfectly nice, but they didn't go that extra step. I mean, it's such a big thing that when the security guard that was up at AT&T Stadium and Texas Stadium back in the day passes away, it literally created a ripple through the state, because that's the type of relationships those people that work for the Dallas Cowboys do for the coaches, for the media, for the fans, for everybody. And as great as the stadium is, to me, it's how they treat everybody. That's the biggest part.
Oh, by far. Like I remember telling somebody the difference between the other two stadiums and AT&T Stadium was AT&T Stadium was like, you are a guest in our house, and we're going to make sure that you feel welcomed and you feel like a guest, like you're a house guest, and we want you to stay as long as you want. At the other stadiums, it was like, we're doing you a favor. Yep. So you better appreciate it. And like, I remember one year, like I'm not going to say the stadium just because I don't want to do it, but our game went long and they wouldn't let the meal for the kids come in. They were like, nope, it's too late. We don't take deliveries anymore. And so they just threw $600 worth of food away because they wouldn't let them go because their game was late. And they're like, nope, gates locked after this time. We don't open it up anymore. And so our kid, we got done. We get done with the state championship game, and our kids were like, all right, coach, what are we getting to eat? And we're like, oh, it should be Sonic around here somewhere. And they're like, oh, no, they wouldn't let them in. What do you mean wouldn't let them in? Like and then not only that, didn't tell us. That's what it was. Our head coach called the Sonic, and they were like, oh, they didn't let us in. They said the gate was locked, and they wouldn't open it. They wouldn't let anybody in. And so our kids played in the state championship game. We were just like, all right, we'll get on the bus. And we stopped. Luckily, we had a really good superintendent. We stopped at a convenience store. It was the only thing that was open on the drive back. And he's like, y'all just get whatever you want. And so, they got chips and peanuts and candy bars on the ride home.
Oh, man, that's great. You have state championship kids who are also sugared up on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, luckily I was in the van.
All right. I think this is going to be maybe the best game of the state championship weekend, and I truly, truly believe that. Malakoff 15-0, Franklin 14-1. The battle of one team that finally a few years ago broke through and got that state championship, and now they're a mainstay. And then Malakoff, a team that got to the state championship game 5 years ago, got beat, and have yet to finally climb that mountain. This is going to be an interesting game, Coach.
Yeah, I think this is, like you said, I agree with you 100%. This was the best game of the weekend, or at least on paper, it's the best game of the weekend. Franklin might show up and just blow the doors off like they did to Edna. But I don't see it happening that way. Malakoff, crazy talented, and I saw some film on them, some highlights on them. They are massive like that. At 3A Division I level, they are huge. And I'm not just talking about up front. Even their skill guys are huge. Like when I was watching them, I actually watched them on my television set against Brock. I plugged it in, so I knew what I was talking about. Terrence, you fell for my ruse. But the defensive end for Malakoff is a monster of a man. Like the kid that I think he caught a touchdown. He's number 10 or something like that. Yeah, he's 6'5", 235 pounds. Like, yeah, that's common at the 3A level. I was like, come on. And he's not even the biggest guy on the line.
Nope.
And I was like, good gosh almighty. And then their running back, they're just listing them off. Like, oh, 6'1", 190s, 6 foot, 185. Their quarterback is big dude too. But Franklin is really, really physical. Malakoff's really, really physical from what I've seen. The Franklin kids have been there, like we've talked about, and they're trying to get their third state championship in 4 straight years, which is pretty amazing considering if you're a freshman at Franklin High School, you've never not been at the state championship game.
Exactly right.
Which is pretty remarkable. And Malakoff is, I picked Malakoff last year to go and to beat Brock, and then Brock had a great game against Malakoff, and then they had a great game against Franklin. And Malakoff had a great game against Brock. I expect them to have a really great game against Franklin. And Franklin's going to do what they do and just run the ball down your throat. And then when you're not expecting it, hit you on that little bootleg and that little play action pass, and that tight end's going to be wide open. Both teams are extremely well coached. I really, this is the toss up to me. I've been saying Malakoff is my pick to win state since I don't know, August or something when I saw him on film. And so I'll stick with that and go Malakoff, but do not be surprised at all if Franklin won this game. But I said that a long time ago, or said that a few months ago. So I'll ride that wave all the way out. I'm not a flip flopper like Grant, and he would say, "Oh well, never mind." Hey, but I did know. You know what I think is funny is when you say this is your tagline. This should be your catchphrase, or is your catchphrase. I'm not surprised that they beat him. It's how bad they beat him, and I really like how you get down low into that. It's like you're like that guy, like the guy that used to do the NBC shows, when NBC TV shows would come on, and it would be like from 7 until 9 o'clock would be sitcoms, and then at 9 o'clock, LA Law would come on, or some other nighttime drama show, or Law and Order would come on, and it would be like, you'd be watching the TV and be like, tonight on Night Court, Harry does blah, 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 blah. Then followed by LA Law. That's you. It's like, I'm not surprised how they beat him, but it's how bad they beat him. Like you go down into that and you're like, how they beat them.
It's funny you say that, because when we first started and you first started writing in, and the first time we met in person, you and I were talking about this job. And I said, the one thing you're going to learn, it's not just about what you say, it's all about the performance. Even just talking football, you got to have performances. Now, I don't know if I want Drunken Playoff Tree back, but no, that the voice thing, that's actually a planned thing. And it's so funny because that used to be one of my jokes in school, is exactly what you were like. On Today's Family Ties, Michael P. Keaton and his family love each other. And on Law and Order, 75 people are murdered. and that guy would do it all in one breath. He's probably dead now, but I'd love to meet him because that was awesome. I actually take that as a compliment, so I appreciate that.
Well, there you go, sir. So let's wrap that out with 3A Division I is going to be pretty good, but Malakoff's going to win.
I would not be surprised if Franklin rolls. All right, Terry Bennett here. As we're kind of having to cut the preview show short, what I'll do, though, is I'll play it in the halftime. And then we'll be back up for that. But because of how the game went, by the way, hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here. Sideline to Sideline Championship Preview Show brought to you by Small Town Society right here on L4 Media. Also brought to you by SI Design and Printing. And boy, we've got a great one. We've got Franklin. We've got Malakoff. We've got the game I think a lot of us have been waiting for. And we're here to watch it and talk about it. And if you want to join in, please do. Tell your friends, your family, if anybody's at home. I think this is going to be a great matchup. And this is one of those that we've been kind of looking at all year. You didn't know who was going to come out of Region 3. But you felt whoever it was going to be worthy. And, of course, it's Franklin, who just doesn't know how to lose anymore in the playoffs. Taking on Malakoff and a team that last week got over a big hump beating Brock. Excuse me. It's been a long day already, so a little bit of a slow pace as we get at this, but I am glad everybody's joining us here. We've had a lot of fun doing these. This is now the third one we've done. You'll have to excuse me as I'm getting things in that are supposed to be in that I thought already were. I had to get a real quick meal in between, and again, kind of just waiting for when this would start. And we're about to start now. If you didn't see earlier, sorry, I'm trying to wear. So I'm watching this time on my laptop. I have been watching on the studio TV, which I brought in here, but I'm really saving that more for tomorrow when intern Noe's here. And so what I'm trying to do now is I've struggled at times during the game to understand what was being talked about, and so I've got an earbud for my laptop so I can hear at least a little bit. And then I've got the other one just so I can check the levels and make sure that everything's okay on the levels whenever I'm talking and all that stuff. So there might be a couple times where it's old school. This used to be something I had to do when I had a producer in my ear back in the day. But anyway, Malakoff, Franklin. If you're in the chat, tell me who wins right now. Give me your score before the game starts. That way we know whatever the score is, you will get it. Hey, Robert, welcome back in. Yeah, Jeremy, you're poor Columbus Cardinals. What's up, Patrick? Glad you could join us. One of our big fans here. We do appreciate it. Patrick says Franklin 35, Malakoff 21. Man, that would be tough for Malakoff because that's basically the score they lost to Grandview in the state championship game back in 2018. Now, there is some symmetry there. Jeremy's got Franklin 42-24. There's some symmetry. So Franklin lost the first time they went to the state championship, and then 5 years later they made it back, and they lost in a heartbreaking way to Canadian on a game that went right down to the wire, and basically Canadian had as close to a walk-off touchdown as you could have. And then they won the next year, and they haven't lost since then. Malakoff lost their first state championship game 5 years ago. They're back. So will it be another heartbreaking loss? We'll find out. Mark Fannin on the screen. It was great talking to both of these coaches. It was great talking to both of these coaches on the show. Of course, we have a Franklin football show that we do each and every week. I'm still here. I was just getting a text. Coach Billy Mathis saw him on TV. He feels that this is going to, his words, this is going to be a great game, but I think Franklin will pull it out. Of course, over the last 2 years, Brock has lost to Franklin in the state championship game, and then last week lost to Brock to Malakoff in a classic state semifinal matchup. But here we go. Malakoff will kick off. I didn't see if they deferred or if Franklin won the toss. But here we go, folks. This is going to be a great one. Malakoff wearing their road whites, black helmet with the gold lettering. And we have started. Franklin will receive, going left to right. Nice return, sets Franklin up outside the 25-yard line, almost to the 28-yard line. We all know what Franklin does and what they do best, but I'll tell you what, you've got to respect that passing game this year. They have a legitimate passing attack, and I think we're going to see it this game. They threw it 13 times last week. On the year, Lowry has thrown for 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1,100 yards. More importantly, completing 60% of his passes. Now, this is a baseball player. I think it's SFA or Tarleton that he's committed to, but here we go, Franklin. They're going to line up quick, of course. Daniel Norrell with the tackle. Daniel Norrell last week was the guy with the interception that basically sealed the deal against Brock. And this dude's a beast, man. Brock was blocking him with 2 and 3 guys last week, and he was still getting in. Oh, yeah, I got to get the stats sheet up. I'm sorry. Second down and another couple yards. And, that's what they're going to do all game. They're going to wear you down as a defense until you break. And that's the question is, will they break? I'm trying to get the stat page lined up in the chat room so we can keep up with it. And the first throw for Franklin goes incomplete. Franklin will go through, I'm assuming go 3 and out and punt. Let me make sure I have the right one. And they will punt. It's going to be a short line drive, but takes a really good Franklin bounce. All right, so there's the stat sheet. It can be ahead. Sometimes it can be behind of me. Sometimes I'll be ahead of y'all if you're watching and listening and watching me, and sometimes I'll be behind you. Don't worry, you don't spoil a thing. If y'all are ahead of me, that's fine. Just say what happens in the chat. I do apologize for the scammers. There's nothing we can do about it. Yep, still here, Robert. Sorry. Just trying to get things situated. All right, so we'll see Malakoff for the first time after they put Franklin 3 and out. 10:32 left here in the opening quarter, 0-0. Mike Jones, the all-everything for this Malakoff offense. First play, Jones is going to have a keeper, and he's going to get all the way up to, about a 7-8 yard gain right there. Good start for Malakoff. Second down and 3. Malakoff likes to spread it out, but they do a lot of the same run tendencies. Going to be a big first down here for Malakoff as they get it out to the 40-yard line. 11 yards on the pickup. Now, Malakoff's offense struggled at times last week against a really good Brock defense, but Malakoff's defense and special teams made so many key plays that block punt, then turnaround strip return for a touchdown on the kickoff was the killer. Hall gets his first carry of the game for a couple yards. Yeah, you're right, Jeremy. I mean, Mike Jones, a junior, Hall's a sophomore. Malakoff's going to be back next year no matter what. Second down, and they're able to hem him down for about a 2-yard carry or about 2-yard catch. It's really hard to, when you're running, I mean, it's hard to score against Franklin, but it's really hard to try to go out wide. You can get some space, but you've got to do it right off that defensive end's hip if you're going to get success on the outside with Franklin. Because if you keep going more out, that speed of Franklin's just going to ride with you. Third down and 6. 8 minutes left here in this scoreless first quarter. Boy, Franklin's getting a lot of pressure, but Jones is able to break it and should get the first down, and he does. Boy, that's a big early key play right there. Franklin got pressure, but they lost their pass rush lanes and lost containment. So first down, Malakoff's the first team to get over into the opponent's territory, and a big gain here. And so far, Malakoff is moving the ball well on Franklin. And Franklin's D at times can be scored upon. You looked at what Lorena did in the first time that they played them in district when they scored 52 points. But lately, Franklin's defense has been really, really solid against some really, really good offenses. As Brett Lee said, Malakoff's doing whatever they want so far, and they really are. Another big game for Hall, and that's another first down. Got a great crowd right now in. As Brett said, the O-line's doing a good job, and they are. And that's one of the strengths of Malakoff. That's why last week it was, to see what Brock did against them at times, manhandled them. Franklin's defensive line's physical, but they're just physical in a different way. Mike Jones right down the middle, and Malakoff hits first. Chauncey Hogg with the catch. Beautiful throw from Mike Jones. And Malakoff has announced that they're ready to play this one. Wow. That, sir, was an impressive drive by the Malakoff Tigers. Beautiful throw. Great job by that offensive line. Now, Franklin was rushing 3, but still, Mike Jones had all day right there. Extra point is good. And Malakoff strikes first here in this Class 3A Division I state championship game as they lead 7-0. As you are listening and watching here on the L4 Media Sideline to Sideline Watch Party, we're going to take a break and be right back. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Terry it back here. 7-0 Malakoff leads. Man, that was an impressive drive right there. College football news. Jalen Milroe announces that he will be returning back to Alabama next year. By the way, speaking of college, outdrank the coverage. You see the sign back here? Hang on. You see the sign right there? Intern Noah's going to be here in studio tomorrow, and we're going to watch the two 4A games together here in our watch party. And then he'll be back Monday as intern Noah and I will have an outdrank the coverage live football party watching the Seahawks versus the Eagles in a huge NFC game on Monday Night Football. So check in on both of those right here at L4 Media. That was just a hugely impressive drive right there for Malakoff. But again, that Franklin's defense, that's how it works sometimes with them. That they might give up some stuff and then they kind of start finding their adjustments and finding their footing. And next thing you know, you look up and you haven't scored in 2 quarters. All right, as we're about to get back started. There will be times, if this is your first time listening, there'll be some times where there'll be some moments of silence and things like that. As I'm just kind of watching and seeing what's going on as Malakoff kicks off now. They're ahead 7-0 with 6 minutes left here in the first quarter. Drago will return it, and he's got a nice little lane. He's going to get up to 20 past to the 25, about the 28-yard line, and that's about where Franklin started the last time. Now, again, the thing about Franklin, they're not going to get, they're not going to get frantic. They're not going to stress out. They're going to still do the things they do, whether they're down 7-0, up 7-0, down 21-0, up 21-0. That's what they do so well. First down run this time gets up about a 7-yard game. That was Drago. Drago's a great story, a sad story at first, but a redemption as his stepdad passed away earlier this football season. And from that moment on, he has been playing some of the best football he's ever played. Inspired football, as Coach Fenton said. Boy, you can tell Malakoff is just keying on Jackson as Jackson was only able to get a couple yards. We have an injury on the field for Franklin. A.J. Phillips. And that's the other thing, Jeremy, you're talking about Malakoff being young. It's not like Franklin's super old by any stretch. Vanessa, who are you rooting for? So 3rd down and a yard for Franklin here. Devin Drago gets the first down. Instead of being in the true slot there, they had it like a staggered eye with him as a deep eye. Like the old school deep eye that you used to see Eric Dickerson run for when he'd have it. He'd go with his hands on his hips, standing upright. 7 yards back. That's exactly what that looked like right there. So first down for Malakoff. And they quickly go right back to it, 4 yards down. And that's what they're going to do, man. 4, 5, 6 yards. I mean, you look up right now, and we're already at 4 minutes and 22 seconds left in the first quarter. Second down and 7. It looked like he got a little bit more than that. The quick little hitter looks like he's going to go to the wing back, but he hits the up back, gets about 4 yards. Boy, it really looked like that first down play. He got about 3 more yards. But it'll be 3rd and 3. And you kind of wonder if maybe they're going to be in no man's land here where you go for it if you don't get it, as long as you have a positive play on 3rd down. So 3rd down and 3, quick snap again. That's what Franklin does. Jaden Jackson's going to be close to the first down. Looks like he got it. Even if he didn't, though, you would think with 4th down and 1, they're going to go for it. Yeah, they gave him the first down. I already seen a couple of Franklin helmets get knocked around. Listening to the broadcast talking about the big guys wearing the single digits makes me think of you, Jeremy. Just think if you wore number 0 back in your Columbus playing days. We got a little quick wing out throw that's going to get some good yardage for Franklin, and all of a sudden Franklin's offense is moving well. I don't know how long it'll be, Patrick, simply because of how quick these two teams, line up and move the ball. I mean, like I said, we're already down to 2 minutes left in this first quarter. This is one of those games that blink and you miss it, because look how quick Franklin will snap. Boom. It's time to Jackson, and boy, they're starting to open up some lanes, and Jackson gets a big gain inside the 20. Franklin setting up for the first time in the red zone. Already this game's been the most exciting. Hey, look, Timpson scoring the way they did, Bussey having the game he did, it was absolutely outstanding. But that game was a blowout. Albany Mart was just a slog of a game, partly because of good defense, partly because of bad offense. So far, this game has already lived up to what we thought it would be. Oh, yeah, that's right. See, they can simply just take Jackson out and bring another back and still get 8-9 yards. St. Terry Bussey. You ain't lying, man. The performance he had. You need Jackson to move. All right, quick snap again to Jackson. Another first down with a minute left. 7-0 Malakoff lead, but Franklin is driving. Jeremy, let us know what does Columbus have coming back next year? I know that you're losing some stuff, but the Cardinals are going to be a formidable opponent again next year as well. Jackson already has 32 yards on the day, 7 carries. Again, we're under a minute left in this first half. This game started at 3:05. Oh, Jackson had a lane for a second, but a good job by Norrell for closing it up and getting a big tackle. Yeah, that's very true, Patrick. It is a lot like what Holiday had last year. And that's kind of why Holiday ran what they ran for so long, is they always had a bunch of running backs. And Franklin always has a bunch of running backs. You had Bryce Washington last year, the Baylor commit. Now Jaden Jackson. Jaden's younger brother is going to be just as good. Hadrago going to dive for the end zone. He was down. Now, the great thing is they do have review here at State Championship. Right now, they're calling it a fumble, but they're going to review this. Let's see here as I'm seeing the. Oh, no, he fumbled. He fumbled. Oh, man, that is a huge, huge play. Helmet to the ball. And, yep, he fumbled the ball. That is going to be a fumble. Malakoff with a big play at the goal line. And I don't think he crossed the line. I'm not sure yet, Elias, about Columbus. That's what I was asking Jeremy. What does he feel they have coming back? As he said, they're going to have to replace their running back. I do think you're going to see the Cardinals go more of a passing offense. Here, Malakoff takes over with the lead now. Mike Jones with a big gain on the final play of the first quarter. And what an action-packed quarter it already was. 7-0, Malakoff leads. You know what? We're going to take a quick break as they have a break here, and we'll be right back on the Malakoff versus Franklin. Fun football watching party. I hope everybody brought their pajamas and their popcorn. We'll be right back. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. See Abla.
Hey, I mean, that's a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back. All right, Terry Bennett back here. End of one quarter here. Malakoff up 7-0. If you missed it, Franklin was driving to score at the end of the first quarter. They had a fumble at the goal line. The ball went into the end zone, so it was a touchback. And Malakoff has now a second down in about 3. And, boy, it's going to be interesting to see how Franklin answers back. Offensively, they looked really good on that drive until that fumble. I do think, Lorena going up, I think that while Region 3 will still be tough, Jeremy, I don't think it's the gauntlet that it was this year. So them as a tier 2, which I respect the tiers. That's the one thing I wish Grant would want to bring back. I don't really get why he stopped wanting to do that. Now, Grant's at the game. Grant's at the game. He always likes to go to the state championship games, but I still think that you see a path for Columbus next year to still be a region threat. So we start the second half. Or second quarter, excuse me. I said the game was going quick. It ain't quite going that quick. Second in the yard, Mike Jones is going to do a keeper. He's going to get the first down and a few more up near the 35-yard line. He's already nearing about 75 yards of total offense. Boy, what a year Jerry and Hall had. The sophomore came in because of injury to Tennyson and just been just electric. So first down play for Mike Jones. Got a wide open Chauncey Hogg and another big play. And Malakoff right now has Franklin on skates. So another first down for Malakoff. I think it was Jimmy inviting Grant this time, Robert. Malakoff on first down now, and another big play for Mike Jones. And man, they are just having their way against this Franklin defense. They are carving the Lions up right now. So another first down for Malakoff. They're in Franklin territory. They're up 7-0. Now, I will say, even though Franklin runs the slot T, being down 2 scores isn't something that really bothers them. But what should bother them is they're not making plays right now. And another big play for Malakoff as they're down to the 21-yard line. It's amazing to see this offensive line after last week just absolutely struggling. Jarian Hall had his worst game of the year last week. I think it was 30 carries. Like 30 yards on 14 or 15 carries. Brock was in Mike Jones's face almost every play. Today, it's not been that way. Tried to do a screen to Hall, and Franklin sniffed it out well. So it'll be second down and 11 now. 9:16 already left in this second quarter. At half, because the pregame show or the preview show got truncated because of the starter thing at half, I'll just continue playing what the preview show had. Matt Diggs had his take, and I'd like for them to hit that. Second down and 11 for Malakoff now. Boy, they're just so big. Jaden Jackson starting to make a name for himself defensively in this one. The big third down here for Malakoff. That's a good question, Jeremy. I don't think he's fast enough to be a running back. I really feel that linebacker would be his best. There was a running back for Gilmer back in 2009 who was a lot like that, and that was the team that lost to Liberty Hill in the state championship game. Justin Johnson was his name. And he went to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma wanted to make him a linebacker, and he was just bound in the term to be a running back and ended up bouncing around. And I really wish he'd have stayed at linebacker because I think he could have had a pro career at it. And that's how I feel about Jade. I'm not saying Jade could go pro. You know, as great as Jaden is, when you project him to college and beyond, he's kind of smallish at the moment. But man, he has a nose for the ball. He hits. You might even say safety. But yeah, I definitely see it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. Timeout now. That's I didn't even, to be honest with you, I was talking with Jeremy and answering his question. I didn't even see what the timeout was called for. We'll be back after this one for Gunter versus Tidehaven. And then tomorrow, intern Noah's joining me, and we're going to be talking the 2 4A games. I can't wait for those. Nothing against Tidehaven and Gunter, but I think we all know how we think that's going to go. You know, I really don't know, Patrick. I know the Belleville running back got some carries. I know Dawson Pendergrass, the former Mineola running back, he was getting a lot of looks, but I don't really know what Bryson Washington, what position he's even playing. He's another one that a lot of people projected that would end up being defensive. Trying to look him up right now. They have him listed as a running back. It looks like maybe he redshirt freshman this year, or redshirted this year, I should say. Oh yeah, I forgot, Jeremy. You've got a rooting interest for Tidehaven. So 3rd down and 11 for Malakoff as we come back to play. 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Big play here for the Franklin defense to get Malakoff off the field. Pressure, and Mike Jones is going to break a tackle and get down near the first down. Wow, I don't know how Jones did that. Now, I will say it looked like a couple of holds were not called, but that's kind of been how it's going so far in the state championship games. I don't mean that as a bad thing or a good thing. But Jaden Jackson definitely got rode down there as he got pressure. But man, Mike Jones, he had no business getting that many yards on that play. 4th down and 2 now, and you're going to see Malakoff go for it. And I don't have any problem with this play call as ways they're controlling the offensive line. We're going to have movement early. They're not going to call it, but Franklin's going to hold them. A big defensive stand right there. Oscar Torres, Cameron Zamora up front there making big plays, man. That's what I love about these two teams. That's what I love about this game. 5 minutes ago, it looked like Franklin had found their offense. They were going to be in control. They fumble. Then Malakoff just easily drives down the field. Looks like they're about to convert a 4th down, maybe go up 2 scores. And no, Franklin's defense stops them. That's why we were saying this might be the best game of the week, no matter what class. So with 7 minutes left in the second quarter, Franklin has the ball down 7-0. Hadrago gets a big gain, and I love Coach Fannin going right back to Hadrago after he fumbled. You know, a lot of coaches wouldn't do that. But look at that lane. Wow. Oh, we got a lot of people that just joined in. Welcome, everybody. They're hearing how great this game is. Second or first down play there, just a couple yards for Jaden Jackson. Drago again, and boy, Malakoff does a great job of stringing that out, and just like that, it's third down and long. Third down and long here. Little misdirection. Inside carry, but Malakoff is not fooled, and Franklin's going to have to punt. Wow, what great discipline and pursuit right there for Malakoff. That's real easy on that play. When you're thinking third down and long, you're looking off the edges, and for them to hit that little belly inside, old school slot T, you call it the shitty guard read. But a great job right there. It feels like there's been a lot of offense, and it's just 7-0. Jeremy gonna go work the soccer game. He loves it. He acts like he doesn't. He loves it. Delay of game on. Franklin will back them up 5 yards. Line drive punt. Malakoff's going to get good field position. Well, I say that, and it takes a Franklin bounce to about the 31-yard line. So that's the second time the punt's not been pretty, but it's been effective. We'll take a quick break. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Terry Bennett back here on the Malakoff versus Franklin watch party. Franklin trails Malakoff 7-0. Malakoff's going to get the ball when we come back out of this break. And again, I know Franklin isn't going to be worried if they go down 2 scores, but going down 2 scores near the end of the second quarter, and you know, this is one of the negatives of what Franklin does offensively, is if they're not punching it in, they're hurting themselves because they're limiting possessions, because that's what they're going to do offensively. They're going to play keep away. Waiting for them to come out now. They'll have the ball at the 32-yard line. Malakoff will. 4:20 left in the second quarter. Malakoff up 7-0 with the ball. Jones up the middle. The ball's on the ground. Let's see if he fumbled before he hit the turf. Dude, that was a major league hit right there. Wow. Oh, yeah, that's a fumble. Wow, man. That is one of the hardest hits I have seen in high school football, man. And just like that, Franklin gets the ball in great field position with 4:12, left in the first half. That's what champion teams do. And these two teams are just answering each other defensively now. Now we're going to have Franklin's going to have about 2 or 3 false starts and early movement. And this is going to be one of them because the way they work, they come to the line quickly. They get set as quick as can. They snap as quick as they can. And they usually get caught about 3 times. Coach Fannin not happy about that call. So that'll back them up 5, 1st and 15 from the 43-yard line. Jackson gets a little bit of run, and they were just saying on the broadcast that Franklin's possessions, it's been punt, fumble, and punt. So with 3:41 left in the first half, this is Franklin's 4th time with the ball, and that's what we talk about. When you have an offense like Franklin that grinds you down, that's awesome, except for when you're not being able to put points on the board, you're also hurting yourself by you're limiting yourself with the amount of possessions. And then Malakoff kind of does the same thing, just in different ways. So 2nd down and 11 now, quick hitter. And once again, Malakoff is right there. And Jaden Jackson gets maybe 2 yards. You know, we saw passing early, but we haven't really seen. I really thought you'd see Court Lowry throwing it a little bit more here in the game for Franklin. But again, this is only their 4th possession. But it's 3rd down and 9 now. You kind of feel like you're in no man's territory, or you might go for it as long as you get some positive yards on this 3rd and 9. Lowry throws it near the sticks. It's going to be caught. Depends on the spot if it's a 1st down or not. If it's not, they're going to go for it. And they're going to go 4th and 1 on it. So it's going to be, let's see if they review the spot. Yeah, I was about to say, I think they need to review it. It looked like he might have reached the ball out. It all depends on, though, where his knee was when he did that. But I thought initially on the first, it was a 1st down. talking on the broadcast that they could also be looking at the catch. I think it's a good catch. The ball does touch the turf, but as they were saying, the ball can hit the turf as long as you maintain control. That's ooh. So this is going to be an interesting call. Looking two ways. Could it be a first? It could be anything from a first down, a fourth down and one, or a fourth down and back to the original line of scrimmage. I think it's a good catch. I think it's a first down, but I honestly, I could see them going either way with this one. They're calling it incomplete. Wow. That's a tough one. I think that's honestly, I think either way was the right call. The ball definitely hit the ground. There was a little bit of movement. I can see that they're going to say he didn't have control, but I could also have seen if they said he did have control because the ball didn't move a lot. But either way, it's fourth down now. And what will Franklin do here? I'm imagining they're going to probably go for it. 2:31 left here in the first half. Malakoff's up 7-0. Lowry also is the punter, though, so him going out doesn't really tell you what they're going to do. And he's lining up under center, at least right now. Now he's going to back up and he's going to pooch it. And he's going to punt it, and it's going to get inside the 20, but not by much. Yeah, they're talking about that was a good job, and I guess it was. But I mean, you're gaining only 10 yards if you'd have just went for it. But either way, man, what a game this has been, folks. This is why we were excited about it. So much action, and it's only 7-0. All right, Terryman and back here. Brock head coach Billy Mathis. We've been texting during this, and as he said, you got to give Malakoff credit. That defense is really holding up. And this is a huge drive right here, man. Malakoff, if they could get some points on the board, they'll get the ball to start the second half. So let's see what Malakoff's going to do here. Big play to start this drive off. And that's what Malakoff has done so well so far today is that first play of the drive. It just seems like they're getting big plays. Jones throwing on first down and another first down outside the 40 with 1:44 left. So Malakoff is on the move again. Jones with a keeper, and he's going to have another big gain. In fact, he's going to break it all the way down into the Franklin side of the field, and the Malakoff Tigers are on the move again. Wow, they have just had Franklin's defense on skates all game long. Franklin's going to have to make a play here soon. A minute left now. Jones rolling out, looking to throw, dumps it off. Incomplete. That was dangerously close to being an intercepted pass. So second down and 10, 58 seconds left. Jones keeper again up the middle on second down. It gets him a third and manageable. 50 seconds left. Probably will call a timeout. Yeah, they do call a timeout here. Again, at halftime, because of the other game running late, we didn't get to have the whole preview show played. So I'll play the rest of it at halftime. And then we'll play a little bit of Beyond the Sport, our new podcast that Tish Lee's doing, where she talks to football athletes, basketball athletes, all athletes and coaches about their walk in faith. Replaying that Malakoff or that Franklin Brock game from last year, that was an absolute thriller. Third down and 6 for Malakoff. 48 seconds left in the first half. Running a design keeper to the corner. Franklin, though, with good penetration off the edge. A big loss. Now, if you're Malakoff, you might just run down the half. "16 seconds left," and that's exactly what they're doing. Both teams are just happy to take this to the halftime. Malakoff will probably run something here like a Hail Mary, but now we're going to have a flag, and that'll back them up with 6 seconds. So it will be a penalty against Malakoff. That'll back them up 5 yards. Let's see if that changes any of their idea here. It looked like they were just going to probably throw to the end zone. First penalty of the game against the Tigers. Franklin's only had 2 penalties. All right. If you're not watching, or if you're watching and you didn't hear, basically, if you have a false start and the clock's running under a minute, you either have to take a timeout or you get a 10-second runoff. And so Malakoff decided to take the timeout. So that tells me they're probably going to throw down the field. Matt Diggs is going to have a fit. The broadcast just said that Malakoff is in East Texas. You got to think with them calling a timeout, they're going to at least try to throw to the end zone. I don't think you call a timeout and then just run a draw play or a quarterback keeper. Maybe you do and just see if something breaks. But here we go. They come back under center. And now Franklin, after seeing how Malakoff is lined up, they're going to call a timeout. I love that Franklin hat that Coach Fannon's wearing. That's nice. Got to wonder what the adjustments are going to be at half. I still feel like there's points that are going to be had in this game. I don't think this game is going to end 14-7 or 17-14. I still feel like both of these teams will get into the 20s, yet here we are. Malakoff only has 7 points. Franklin has 0. But both teams have moved the ball well at times. Again, Franklin looked like they were going in to score, fumble right at the goal line. Malakoff, they then had a good possession or a good field position, and they fumbled. So let's see what they do now. So here we go. 6 seconds left. Last play of the half, barring a penalty. Snap back. Jones is looking to throw it deep into the end zone for a little Hail Mary. But he's going to be, ball's going to be knocked out, and it's going to be a fumble, but Malakoff will fall on it, and that will end the first half. Oh, my goodness. That could have been a travesty right there if Franklin would have been able to scoop and score. But what a first half that we had. 7-0 Malakoff leads, but the action's been way, way more than that. We're going to take a break. And while we take a break, I want to play our new podcast, our new show, Beyond the Sport. Tish Lee talking to athletes and coaches about their walk with God and how they balance that playing sport, especially an aggressive sport and violent sport like football, and just how they do that in their walk of life. This is our new series, and we're really, really proud of it. So here's a little bit of a peek at that.
Football, it's something that is a Texas favorite. Often it's prioritized above so much in our culture here in Texas. Coach Jake Johnson. He's the head football coach for the Millsap, Texas high school football team. He's actually quite an imposing figure.
Run it.
But
Normal
cancer
game.
didn't care. It didn't care that he was a big, strong guy. It didn't care that he has a wife and kids. It didn't care that he was somebody's son. Cancer didn't care that he is a coach trying to help his football players become young men.
Dogs. Go.
Cancer didn't even care about his faith. When he received his diagnosis a little over a year ago, his wife and kids surrounded him in love and support. His parents immediately got in the car from Georgia and drove out to be with him and his family. His in-laws also came to help out around the house as well. Surrounded by help, love, and support, instead of fear and worry, Coach Johnson chose to move forward, walking in and relying on his faith.
I don't know how good of a job I did, but I can tell you this. It certainly allowed me to speak truth into them that their value is not in winning a football game.
Are you an athletic director or coach looking to make your locker room pop, looking to refresh your look, looking to redo your brand? Well, check out SI Design and Printing. They're going to transform your sports organization, athletic facilities into what you're looking for by enhancing the student-athlete experience, boasting the brand, and honoring your past. They do that with banners, backlit signage, locker graphics, window graphics, fence mesh graphic designs, and
First had the idea to do this podcast. I ran the idea by one of our local coaches, and he gave me the name of someone that he thought should be my first interview without hesitation. Brett Tutter. I have watched him play football and run track for the last couple of years. He's had an amazing high school athletic career, but I didn't know much about his walk with Christ. But after one of the games one night, I asked him if he would like to come on my new podcast and talk about his faith. Without hesitation, he said he would love to. Well, fast forward a couple weeks, and I got to watch and listen to an FCA presentation that he gave, and it was then I knew why he needed to be my first interview. Well, welcome to my studio, Brett. I am really happy to have you here. And this is really neat because I've watched you play football for the last couple years, and you've actually got a really great athletic career going. You have been to the state championship in football and track in multiple events in track, and quite an illustrious career.
Yes, ma'am.
So something to be proud of. But we're here to talk about beyond the sport. So let's get into that. When I first broached Coach Mathis with this idea, he suggested that you be my first interview. I didn't know why, no clue why. And he just suggested it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll make that my first interview. And I asked you and you said yes. And a couple weeks ago, I watched a film of you giving a talk to some high school athletes at the FCA meeting you had, and I was blown away. And at the end, I was even more blown away at how you have this grasp, this knowledge of the gospel, and you were able to explain it above and beyond. And at the end, you said you were a new Christian, and I was just so blown away. But it was an amazing talk you gave to them, and that convinced me you absolutely have to be my first interview. So, Brett Tutter, we want to learn about you beyond the sport. In this case, sports plural for you. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you grew up and what kind of household you have and what got you into sports.
Yeah, so I've been playing sports all my life since I can remember. And I grew up in Rockingham County, North Carolina. And so we moved here, I think when I was in 4th grade. So I guess like a switch between growing up here and there and in Brock and stuff like that. And then just since I can remember, I've always had a football in my hand. I've always been running and all that stuff. So it was kind of just like natural that I play sports, you know. And of course, my parents also pushed it that we play sports too. And then, so just got into sports pretty easily. And then, yeah.
Brock's a pretty good place to come for sports. So you get in, you're playing football, you're playing track, keeping out of trouble because that keeps you pretty busy. And seems like you're on a team with some pretty close teammates. The team seems to bond pretty well every year with each other that I see. And then, of course, on the relays and stuff that I know you're individually in the 100, but you've been on some relays. And you guys the boys always seem to bond really well together and merge together really well on the field. So as you're growing up in Brock, either on the field or off the field, did you have any models for Christianity first off in your home?
Yes. I mean, like, since I was little, my parents have always read, like, Bible stories to me and stuff like that, you know. And then, so I always grew up in a church. And so I didn't really learn what it meant to have a relationship with God until late into my life, not too long ago. But I always grew up like inside of a church. I was always there. We were always there on Sundays. We were always there on Wednesdays. We were there for what is it called?
Like Christmas Eve service
and all that stuff. And so I mean, we were always there. And so, but I didn't really learn what it truly meant to be a Christian until I was older.
Okay, I think that happens to a lot of people. They go to like VBS and they accept Christ into their heart. Of course, you know, they're 7 and 10 and 12, and sometimes even 13 or 14-year-olds, or even some kids at a Fellowship of Christian Athletes meeting will accept Christ, but then there's nobody pouring into them, and there's nobody helping them to grow. So you kind of come up on this, well, are they really saved? Do they really know what they're doing?
Yeah.
And have they left the old behind and embraced the new heart and started to have a relationship with Christ? So you're going through life pretty much as a Christian, but not really understanding the whole concept of the gospel and what it meant. Okay, and I'm sure your parents modeled that pretty well for you, though, regardless of whether you grasped it or not. Now, when you get into school, everybody wants to do cliques and do things and be a part of a group.
Yeah.
And of course, you're part of a football team, and then I'm sure you've got your group of friends. And do you see things? Well, I'm sure you do. But for you personally, what do you see that affects you as a Christian in school, in life, on the field even, or on the track, that you have to weigh your faith against? Do you have those moments where you have to make those decisions?
Yes. So
I mean, don't call out any names, please.
So when you're in a locker room and you're in school, of course, you're surrounded by sin. I mean,
Yes.
it's everywhere. I mean, anywhere. You go out into town, you go out anywhere. I mean, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And so that can also be tempting at times, is to join in with that, you know?
Be part of the group.
Yeah, be part of that group who's going out and doing this certain thing, going out and doing those things. And so that's when you just have to rely on the Lord. I mean, you got to trust Jesus. And you're like, although I might want to go out and have fun, I might want to go out and hang out with them, although I might not be doing that stuff, it's not good as a Christian to surround yourself with evil.
Well, what you're surrounding yourself is what you're ultimately taking in, and ultimately what you're going to partake in.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you're hanging out with people that are just doing drugs, eventually you're going to fall into that world. And so you make those decisions, and I'm sure that's hard because it's probably left you out of some things with other people. When you're playing sports, tell me how your Christian walk affects you when you're out on, whether it's the practice field or in the game.
I don't say it really affects anything, but it does change like a lot of things. You go like when you pass from death to life and all that stuff, and you go from old to new, and you're washed in the blood of Christ. You start to find yourself almost like falling away from certain things. So like you don't want any part of anything that's going on like in the locker room. It's mainly in the locker room. So I mean like you hear a lot of stuff, you see a lot of stuff, and you just like you don't want to be a part of it anymore, And so you learn to surround yourself with good people. You learn to like surround yourself in you're covered in Christ. You're trusting Christ. You're trusting His process. Mm-hmm. So you start to fall apart, or not apart, but you start to drift away from that crowd that is doing all that is sinful and doing all that stuff.
Yeah. Have you had to struggle with that, or is it something that the separation and the walking away, the turning away from, has it been a struggle at times, or is it something that you feel the Holy Spirit has helped you navigate well?
Mm-hmm. So, of course, you do have Jesus on your side telling you that this is wrong, but like He's telling you, hey, like don't do that. Like that's wrong. That kind of stuff is wrong. But it's also hard not to give in to that kind of stuff. And so when you see that kind of stuff going on, you learn to tell yourself, hey, you don't need to be around that. You don't need to. And of course, you have the Holy Spirit on you. He's telling you, hey, don't be involved in that stuff. Don't do that kind of stuff. And so you just learn to set yourself apart and just be outside the of what seems like it would be like
the influence of that.
The influence, yeah.
And I've noticed, like, after the game, you don't really congregate. I mean, you congregate as a team because, he calls you in, and Coach Mathis calls you in and gives you a talk at the end of each game, and you guys pray at the end of each game usually, and stuff. But I do notice that you're not in with the big center group of seniors all the time, and the group of people. You kind of come out, do your job, and you're like that's your job, and you're done, and you celebrate and you're happy, but you're not doing a lot of the antics some of the other kids on the side are doing and hanging out. And do you find that when you're out there that you're having to make conscious choices sometimes to avoid certain situations that come up? I mean, I'm on the sidelines right now with Taylor doing filming, and it doesn't matter if I stand on the Brock side or the other team side, I hear all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. And it extends from the stands down to the sidelines. But how does that affect you when you are hearing those things, whether it's you're on the field and it's coming from a teammate, another team player, or a player on the other team? You hear fans. I mean, one of our last games, I was photographing, and I couldn't believe some of the things I was hearing from the fans. Not on our side, thank goodness, but
yeah,
it was very, very intense, and I was like, wow.
I mean, there's crap talking on both sides, of course. I mean, like, and it's hard, like, being a Christian, like when you make a good play, you knock someone down, not to just get in their face and just start going at them, And so
that would be my temptation, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and so you just gotta learn to just ignore it. Just let it go through one ear throughout the other, And so, I mean, just take what you know as a Christian, put it into your own life, to your own perspective, and then use that in your day-to-day life, even if it is in sports. Of course, in sports, it's hard not to get fired up. Of course, like, there's a good way to get fired up, way to get amped up, but it's hard not just to control yourself And so you just have to learn to, like, with all that going around you, with all the people who are talking crap to you, like, you just have to learn to just turn, like, if someone, like, it talks about it in the Bible, where if someone's to slap you in one cheek, you turn your face and let them slap you on the other. And so, I mean, you just have to do that in all aspects of life, even sports, football, track. I mean, track is not really a crap talking sport.
Oh, it is, trust me. I remember the girls.
Girls might be a different story.
Yeah, girls are definitely. We were fortunate. The girls on the team were very cohesive. It wasn't a drama team, luckily for us, with the girls or the parents. But I remember being at one track meet, and the girls were, for one of the relays, talking smack, and Tori just goes, "Guess we'll see." And then she walks by at the end, boom, mic drop. And I was like, you know, I appreciate that there was no trash talk, but one of the things I did appreciate, and we're very fortunate living in Texas, is the prayer. I do recall a lot of times seeing the girls, 4 of them especially, huddled together before the mile relay. And then I also do remember times where they had other teams that they were competing against with them in that huddle. And that was very, I don't know, just, it was like earth shattering, like in a, just, you're proud of your kids, you're proud, you know, you're excited for them that they're doing that, and they're doing that before they even go to the starting line, and that they're including other people, and just that's where their heart was at. And so, yeah, there's trash talk on the girls' side. It's kind of probably different than the guys' side, but girls can be vicious.
Yeah, in track, I usually just make friends with everybody, like from different schools and all that stuff. I just go up and just start talking to them, and then I like track because it's more of a laid-back sport. I mean, like, it's not always just head-to-head. You're banging heads all the time. It's just like you go up there, you talk to them, they fire the gun, and you run, you know?
Yeah, and you're done. I mean, that's your moment. And football, you know, there's that aggression for 48-plus minutes.
Yeah.
It's almost 2 hours by the time you do halftime and timeouts.
And so many emotions in football.
I've seen that. Luckily, you know, you've been able to come out on the positive side of the emotions for the most part, down to the end. But I want to back up a little bit before we jump towards the end. So you were saying earlier that you grew up in a Christian home, and I jumped right into the sports because I love sports. But this is more important. You grew up in a Christian home, but you didn't have, you know, the full grasp. When did you start getting that?
So, so when we moved to Texas, we didn't really have a church that we went to all the time. And so it took forever for us to find a church. And then so when I started dating my girlfriend, her dad happens to be the pastor at Willow Park Baptist.
Okay.
And then so I always thought that if you live a good life, you know, and like you make a few wrongs here and there, like you'll end up in heaven. When at all, that is not what the gospel teaches. And it talks, and like the main thing is justification by faith. I mean, you go into Romans, it talks about it all the time. It says, "For all has sinned and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by His grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus."
Yep.
So, because He died on the cross for us, He paid that punishment that we should deserve, but He paid it for us, and because of that, we're allowed to go into heaven. And so, I didn't learn that until I asked Brooklyn, and so that's my girlfriend. And so I asked her one day, and we had just gotten done. I'm like, "Hey, how do you go to heaven?" You know, I asked her, and she said, "You got to know that you're a sinner. You have to know you can't save yourself. You got to know that Jesus died for you on the cross. You got to ask Him into your heart." And I mean, it's that simple. And a lot of people think it's a lot more confusing than that. I mean, and so
they can't wrap their head around how simple it is. It's like there must be something I have to do.
And so that's the devil talking to you. He'll sit there and he'll chirp.
Oh, he does.
And he'll say, "Yeah, it's not that simple." I mean, after I got saved, like I was like a couple weeks after, and it's called and so I mean, he's just sitting there. He's like, "Yeah, that was too easy." He's like, "One prayer is not enough for you to go to heaven."
So then you're praying it again.
And so
there's actually a book, Stop. I can't remember the name of it. Stop Praying to Be Saved. I'd have to go back and look it up. But it's basically for people that keep doing that over and over.
And it's it happened multiple times for me. And then so I told myself at that time, I'm like, I'm not going to listen anymore. I'm not going to give into it. And so I told myself right in and there, I'm done with that. And so that spiritual warfare stopped after that. And so I know that I'm saved now. Being saved is one thing, but knowing that you're saved is another thing. And so you know that you're saved when the Holy Spirit talks to you. You're a changed person, and you are now a part of the children of God. You're now adopted into
His family.
That family. Yeah. And so right after salvation, that's when the adoption happens. You are now adopted.
And this happened fairly recent for you, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
According to the video I watched.
Yeah, it was February 5th, 2023. It was the day I got saved. Best day of my life.
Yeah, I can second that.
Yep.
It is an amazing feeling to say, I want to be a child of God and be part of his family. And you're right. So many people, I must do something to earn it. There must be something more. And they can't believe that it's a free gift if you just put your trust.
His grace is amazing. His grace is enough.
It is enough. It's sufficient. Yep. It's enough. It's beautiful. And there's nothing that you can do that can equal it or achieve it. And I think that's what people continue to think, well, I'm a good person. I don't do this. I don't do that. And we as humans tend to categorize sin. Well, murder is worse than stealing a glue stick. But God doesn't look at it that way.
Sin is sin.
Sin is sin, and it separates us from a holy God,
Yep.
which is what we try to explain to people and say, this is why you need the Savior to do that. Because if not, I'd be spending all day at the temple sacrificing pigeons and goats and sheep. I would never get any work done. I'd be a bloody mess. The priest would be a bloody mess. And we'd be out of birds and sheep and goats. So I, for one, am definitely thankful because it's a sacrifice I'd be making daily.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And it's something that I know can take hold of you. So how does this guide you through your sports? You said it's helped you step away from some of the negative things that can be experienced, be it in the locker room. I know when you line up on the sidelines, not on the sidelines, but on offense and stuff, that I'm sure there's people like, I'm going to come get you, or whatever is being taunted at you. So how do you let your faith walk you through that and demonstrate to others or talk to others about that?
So I always pray for chances where I can talk to other people about Christ. And so, of course, I'm not going to just go up to someone and be like, hey, Jesus loves you. I'm not going to be that awkward person that does that. But if you pray for those opportunities, God will give them to you.
That goes with that saying, be careful what you pray for.
Yep. And so I pray for opportunities like that all the time. And then he gives them to me. And so whether it be people on the team, people outside of the team, people that are younger than me, people that are outside of school, I get moments like that all the time to talk to them. And so, I mean, I make it a goal every day that I am to talk to someone. I am to go to them, tell them about Christ. And I mean, and so God gives you those opportunities like that to able to do that. So you're not just going up to them and be like, that awkward person, that weird person doesn't go up and like, hey, Jesus loves you, but he will give you that opportunity to go up and talk to them and tell them the gospel, tell them what can get them saved, tell them what it means to be a Christian and what it means to be a child of God. And so I like to focus on that a lot, rather than the sports,
Yeah, and that's why you're here. I mean, sports are awesome, sports are great, but we get sports at the grace of God, at the grace of where we live.
Yep.
Are you an athletic director or coach looking to make your locker room pop, looking to refresh your look, looking to redo your brand? Well, check out SI Design and Printing. They're going to transform your sports organization, athletic facilities into what you're looking for by enhancing the student athlete experience, boasting the brand, and honoring your past. They do that with banners, backlit signage, locker graphics, window graphics, fence mesh graphic designs, and so much more. If you need a refresh, SI Design is going to help you do that. Check them out online, sidesign.net. And hey, if you're a parent or a grandparent, they've got something for you as well, as SI Design is the leading provider of custom sports prints. They offer a variety of products, including posters, banners, canvases, and more. All you have to do is upload your high-quality studio or action shot, and SI Design will create the memory for you. For more information, all you have to do is go to their website, sidesign.net/sports prints, and you'll get all the information that you need. You can also find them on Facebook. Just type in SI Design and Printing. Give them a call, 254-405-9492, or you can email them, info@sidesign.net, and tell Kyle that's Sideline to Sideline.
It's been a crazy first half, but it's been low scoring. Malakoff leads. Can they keep it and retain it and win state? Or does Franklin come back? We're about to find out here in the second half. Hello, everybody. It's Terry Bennett back here on the state championship watch party. Malakoff versus Franklin. Malakoff leads 7-0 in a game that's been back and forth on the scoreboard, on the field. Just whenever you think one of the teams is about to get control, a big play happens the other way, and it's 7-0, but it's been the most exciting, just actual action-packed from both teams. I mean, what Timpson did last night by themselves was exciting, but, that game got out of hand pretty quick. Franklin will be kicking off here, the lead the second half, and this is a big drive. Every drive from now on is a big drive because, again, the way both of these teams play keep away, you're not seeing a ton of possessions. Malakoff will take the kickoff up to the 25, breaks a couple tackles, and that's where they'll start. About the 26-yard line. On the game, Malakoff has 178 total yards on 25 plays. Franklin only has 95 yards on 22 plays. Time of possession is nearly even. Malakoff with 12 minutes, Franklin with 11 minutes. Malakoff 1 for 3 on third downs, Franklin 3 for 5. Here comes Malakoff to start things. Mike Jones on the game, 7 of 8 for 88 yards and a touchdown. He's been sacked one time, but been pressured many. First play goes to Hall, the running back, and not much there. Hall has 30 yards on 5 carries. There's a flag on the play. Could be a face mask. Yep. So the Franklin defense got a good play on the first play of the second half from scrimmage, but they commit a penalty, and that's going to be 15 yards. So Malakoff's got great field position now after the penalty, and they're going to get a nice play on the first down, and they're already sitting in Franklin territory across the 50-yard line. Gatorade is good after a long day of talking. And I've got one more game after this, as we'll be doing the Gunter versus Tidehaven watch party as well. Second down and 2 now. Again, Jones out of that pistol, going to straight hand off. Big lane. Oh, and what an open field tackle. Hall gets the first down, but man, I'm sorry, that was Hicks. Man, it looked like he was about to break it in a great open field tackle right there for Franklin.
But once again, it just feels like Franklin's defense is on skates. So it's going to be 1st and 10, early third quarter. Malakoff with the ball and the lead, 7-0. Empty backfield now. 2 wides to the right. Quick throw going to be caught, but not much of a gain, maybe 2 yards. Hand up the middle. Not much of a gain there. Going to be 3rd down. Franklin's trying to say that they've got a fumble. The officials aren't having it. Going to be 3rd down. 3rd down and 7 to be exact. Big 3rd down here. Malakoff, 1 wide each side, running back to the right of Jones. Jones going to look back to pass. He's going deep down the field. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown, Malakoff. What a play. What a play call on 3rd down and 7. Mike Jones goes deep down the field. Chauncey Hogg having a heck of a game at wide receiver. We always talk about what he does on the defensive side, being a shutdown corner, but 7 catches, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and a wonderful executed play right there, folks. Scott Smith, the score is now Franklin 0, Malakoff 14. The first drive of the second half, Malakoff drives down and gets the big touchdown to take the 2-score lead. 9:10 left in the third quarter. Jeremy, you can't do that now. Hey, it's Franklin, though, and you know as well as anybody. Until the clock's 0-0-0-0, Franklin has a chance. But, man, you've got to be impressed with the way Malakoff is playing right now. What they're doing to Franklin's defense and what they're doing to Franklin's offense, to be frank, it has just been impressive, especially, I mean, just seeing how they played against Brock. And I know they got the win, but, even Coach Jamie Driscoll said, hey, that was a weird game. Brock kind of at times had their way with us, but Malakoff kept making those big plays, man, getting those turnovers. And that's that part of the game. You can never really say, okay, that's what we're going to go out and do. But they did in that game, made the plays when they needed to. And here they've come out and they have played completely better. Now, in the law of football world, that sometimes means you might play better and still lose. So, again, we have a lot of football left. You're not wrong, Coach Sollers. Still a lot of time left. But again, this is where we talk about with what Franklin does offensively can sometimes hurt them because now they need more possessions. So let's see how Franklin responds. They're showing when Franklin lost to Lorena. The broadcast is making a good point, Tepper and them, that, they're down 2 touchdowns, but this game's long from being over. Franklin's one of those teams, when you've won back-to-back state championships, you find ways to win games that you're behind. So Franklin gets the ball at about the 15, going to bring it up the middle of the field, and they're going to be brought down at about the 26 yard line officially. So 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Franklin touching the ball for the first time here in the second half. They trail 14-0. A lot of time left, but Franklin's going to have to start putting points on the board here soon. First handoff to Jaden Jackson in the half, and he's going to get about 6.5 yards. And that right there is what Franklin's going to want to do. I'm still waiting for Franklin to do something passing wise. And here we go right now. Going to do a play action. Going to throw the ball deep. Got a man, but great defensive play right there. Chauncey Hogg once again. And, we talked about it. He's known for his cornerback skills. And right there, he went right up against Devin Hidrago and just knocked the ball away at the last moment. Great throw, great play, great route. Just on that one, Hogg won the play. So now it's going to be 3rd down and 4 for Franklin. Jackson's going to be about a half a yard short, and you got to think Franklin's going to go for it here. So they're going to go for it on 4th down, folks. Handoff up the middle. Going to be 1st down and more as Jackson breaks through, carrying defenders across the 50-yard line. And a big 1st down for the Franklin Lions. So 1st down and 10 now for Franklin as they now just crossed over into Malakoff territory. A quick little dump pass to Jackson. He's going to get across the 48 to the 45. Starting to get a little chippy now. Jackson is mad. They're saying Jaden's going to have to leave the field. It looked like he had got poked in the eye. Trying to see what Jaden's mad about. Either way, he has to sit out of play because his helmet came off. 2nd down and 6. They're going to run a little counter. Going to be a gain of about 3. And now we've got a flag, and that's going to go against Malakoff for a personal foul. You're going to call personal foul and necessary roughness there against Malakoff. So a big first down for Franklin right there. I do think that was the correct call. So it'll be first down. Now they're going to pitch it out to Jaden Jackson. Great pursuit by Malakoff right there, and going to be a loss of about 4. And boy, this is like 2 blood rivals all of a sudden. It's like both of them have realized now what this game means and where they're at this point of the game. Because, again, we're talking about a Franklin offense that right now it's taking them forever just to get down the field. Second and 14, going to be a small gain. I'm having a hard time with my headset here. Sorry about that. So another big 3rd down and 11 for Malakoff. For Franklin at the Malakoff 28. You got to feel they're going to go for it if they get some positive yards here. And they're going to try to do the quick little hitter, get about 4.5 yards. So it's going to set up about a 4th and 5. So 4th down and 8. Fourth down and 8. They're going to throw the ball. And it's going to be a catch down to the 5-yard line. What a big play for Franklin right there. Wow, man, what a just beautiful play by Lowry right there. Big catch by Hydrago. Now 1st and goal for Franklin. Hard to believe they have not scored yet. And Jaden Jackson carries them into the field for the touchdown. Franklin on the board, and we're back into it. It's a game, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of felt like that drive might have saved Franklin for this game, but they're still going to have to come out and figure out what to do defensively. As we'll take a quick break. Are you an athletic director or coach looking to make your locker room pop, looking to refresh your look, looking to redo your brand? Well, check out SI Design and Printing. They're going to transform your sports organization, athletic facilities into what you're looking for by enhancing the student athlete experience, boasting the brand, and honoring your past. They do that with banners, backlit signage, locker graphics, window graphics, fence mesh graphic designs, and so much more. If you need a refresh, SI Design is going to help you do that. Check them out online, sidesign.net. And hey, if you're a parent or a grandparent, they've got something for you as well, as SI Design is the leading provider of custom sports prints. They offer a variety of products, including posters, banners, canvases, and more. All you have to do is upload your high-quality studio or action shot, and SI Design will create the memory for you. For more information, all you have to do is go to their website, sidesign.net/sports prints, and you'll get all the information that you need. You can also find them on Facebook. Just type in SI Design and Printing. Give them a call, 254-405-9492, or you can email them, info@sidesign.net, and tell Kyle that's sideline to sideline. L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. So like and subscribe and check us out. So the Franklin Lions get on the board with an 11-play, 74-yard drive, capped off by the Jaden Jackson 5-yard run. And they've made him mad, and you don't want to play against Jaden Jackson anyway. But when you make him mad, that just makes it worse. And he's raring to go now. But can Franklin stop the Malakoff offense? Malakoff came out their first drive in this second half, went right down the field and scored. And again, these two teams, the way they play methodically, we've seen 2 drives, and we're already almost out of the third quarter. So 14-7 now, Malakoff leads, and they're about to receive the ball. Franklin's going to kick it deep here. It's going to go into the end zone, so a touchback. 3:57 left here in the third quarter. Malakoff getting the ball at the 25 with the lead, 14-7. Let's see if they go deep again. It wouldn't shock me to see Malakoff right now try to throw the ball down the field again and maybe catch Franklin a little overzealous. The emotions are really high. It's getting chippy. Franklin got back into the game. The defense is fired up. And sometimes you'll see an offense, a really good offense, use that against the defense. Jones with a keeper, only going to get a couple yards there. Well, I tell you what, the hitting is hard in this game. Both these teams, almost after every hit, everybody is slow getting up because this is some real hitting, folks. So 2nd down and 7 here. Clock quickly winding down on this third quarter. Mike Jones with a keeper trying to get to the corner. Oh, what a beautiful open field tackle right there. Boy, that looked like that was going to be a 1st down and more. And a great open field tackle keeps it as a 2-yard gain and bringing up a big 3rd and 15. So 3rd down and 5. Big one right here. Going to throw the ball, has a man wide open, but he throws it too high, and it's going to be incomplete. And let's see what Malakoff's going to do. I'm going to assume they're going to punt right here, but you never know with these two teams. The wide receiver was open. Mike Jones just threw it a little too high right there. But he also saw that corner flashing in. So that might have been one of those that looks like he threw it high, but actually he was making sure that the ball wasn't going to be intercepted because that corner was closing in quick. Malakoff is at least lining up to punt here. 4th and 5 with 2:27 left here in the third quarter. What a turn of events this Franklin offense and defense has done as they force them into a 3 and out. Franklin will receive it. A great punt all the way back to the 20-yard line. Return set up, breaks a tackle and gets back up to the 30. So Franklin is about 70 yards away from tying this. And this is what we were talking about. You know, Malakoff scored, they make it 14-0. But even though Franklin runs the ball and you think grind it out, they get down there, they score. But more importantly, defensively, 3 and out. And as they're talking about on the broadcast, you know, you made Jaden Jackson mad, and that's not always a good thing. He just seems re-inspired. And so does this whole Franklin team. Now Malakoff has to be the one defensively to make a stand. Jackson with a big gain and a first down. And man, he is running like a man possessed now. He always runs hard, but there's just a difference when he gets angry. And Malakoff, after each play, is still barking at him. And at this point, I think they're just feeding the fire. He's literally looking at the sideline, asking for the ball. So it's a first down now at the 41. Franklin on the move with 1:50 left in the third quarter. They're going to throw a little quick pitch to the wide receiver. He's going to get through. It's Devin Hadrago, and he gets almost another first down. In fact, I think they're going to spot him as a first down. So Jaden Jackson went in motion to the far side, and literally 3 Malakoff Tigers went with him. Lowry threw it over to the other side. Great throw, almost picked off. But Adragos makes the catch and gets the first down, and it's first down and 10. It's now at the 49 of Malakoff. Quick hitter to Jackson again. He breaks 1 tackle. He breaks 2 tackles, and he gets near a first down. Oh, my goodness. He is running. I haven't seen Jaden Jackson run this hard, and that's not a knock on him the other times. It's just how intense he's running right now. Now we have a Franklin injury. One of their offensive linemen's down. 1:27 left here in the third quarter. Franklin's down 14-7, but they got the ball and they're on the move right now. Again, remember, we're going to be doing the Gunner Tidehaven watch party and preview show. The broadcast is saying that a Malakoff player spit on Jaden Jackson and that you trying to listen to what they're saying, but they're saying a player from Malakoff spit on Jaden Jackson on video. And if that's true, yeah, that's why Jaden Jackson's pretty pissed right now. All right, so here we come out of the injury timeout. Jaden Jackson is going to get a couple yards. It's going to be 3rd down now. So 3rd down and 2 with a minute left here in the 3rd quarter. So here we go, 3rd down and 2. You got to feel it's 4-down territory. They're going to pitch it to Jackson. They're not going to need the 4th down as he gets the 1st down. Let's see if they're going to run another play. Well, they're going to have to, actually. Play clock has 17 seconds. Game clock 22 seconds. 1st and 10 for Franklin. Quick snap. Jackson on a breather. His brother, the sophomore, Bubba Jackson, not much there. And that should be the final play of this quarter. So the score is, it's still a 7-point game, but man, what a lot of excitement we had in that 3rd quarter. And that's why I said I still think this game's going to get into the 20s. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be watching a hell of a 4th quarter here. Malakoff 14, Franklin 7. We're about to find ourselves a state champion in the 3A Division I world, folks. Are you an athletic director or coach looking to make your locker room pop, looking to refresh your look, looking to redo your brand? Well, check out SI Design and Printing. They're going to transform your sports organization, athletic facilities into what you're looking for by enhancing the student athlete experience, boasting the brand, and honoring your past. They do that with banners, backlit signage, locker graphics, window graphics, fence mesh graphic designs, and so much more. If you need a refresh, SI Design is going to help you do that. Check them out online, sidesign.net. And hey, if you're a parent or a grandparent, they've got something for you as well, as SI Design is the leading provider of custom sports prints. They offer a variety of products, including posters, banners, canvases, and more. All you have to do is upload your high-quality studio or action shot, and SI Design will create the memory for you. For more information, all you have to do is go to their website, sidesign.net/sports prints, and you'll get all the information that you need. You can also find them on Facebook. Just type in SI Design and Printing. Give them a call, 254-405-9492, or you can email them, info@sidesign.net, and tell Kyle that's Sideline to Sideline.
Hey, I mean, that was a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back. All right, 12 minutes left to decide a state championship in what has been an absolute heavyweight battle, especially in that 3rd quarter. Now, the broadcast says that they had on video a Malakoff player spitting on Jaden Jackson, and that's probably what made Jaden Jackson so mad and what has literally lit a fire under him. And even though Franklin trails by the exact same score that they did at the beginning of the quarter, it just feels different now. Malakoff's got to come up with a defensive stand here. Mike Jones on the day, 10 of 12 for 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chauncey Hogg, 7 receptions, 108 of those yards and both of those touchdowns. Jaden Jackson has almost 100 yards. Franklin's ran 39 plays. 34 of them have been on the ground. That's what you expect when it's the Franklin Lions. So let's see what Franklin can do. Trying to tie this game up. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Jaden Jackson's back in the game. He took a breather on that last play, and his brother came in. They're going to hand it back up to Jackson. Jaden, that is. This time he gets tripped up just short of the 30. So it's going to be 3rd down and about 9. $11:35 left in the game. 3rd down and 8. Franklin at the Malakoff 30. Closer to, right at the 30, I guess. That line's hard to see. Let's see what Franklin's going to do here. They're going to hand off to Jaden Jackson. He's going to go up the middle. We're going to have a hold, though. It's going to be 4th down, but it's also going to be a hold. Now, if you're Malakoff, do you take the hold and go 3rd and 15, or do you keep it at 4th down? It's not an easy 4th down. It's not 4th and 1 or anything. It's going to be about 4th and 5. So do you trust your defense? Because you know Malakoff's going to go for it. Let's see what they do. So they're going to give them 3rd down again and back them up 10 yards. That's only the 4th penalty on Franklin for 35 yards. Malakoff only has 2 penalties for 20 yards. It's been a clean game. As ugly as it kind of got in that 3rd quarter, there were no penalties. Well, there was one. I'm sorry. A personal foul, and that was the only one. So now it's 3rd and 18, and let's see what Franklin's going to do here. Court's going to go throwing the ball. Looking to throw deep to the end zone. He's got a man, but it's going to be underthrown. Trying to hit Devin Hidrago, but he underthrew it. Mike Jones was on the coverage. That's right. The quarterback's playing defense. Now it's 4th and 18, and you got to feel Franklin's probably going to have to punt. Great play by Mike Jones. It really wasn't as underthrown as I thought it was. Great throw. Great play. So let's see what Franklin's going to do. They're lining up to go for it. Now they're going to pooch kick it again. Line drive, and this time it gets inside the 10. Let's see where he spots it, actually. It was like about the 8-yard line. So a great punt by Lowry. It's not pretty, but it's effective. So Mike Jones will take over now. Malakoff's up 14-7, and boy, they would like nothing more now than about a 6-minute drive for a touchdown. We'll take a quick break. All right, they come back quick, so we're back. Malakoff has the ball 1st and 10 at their own 8-yard line. Jones is going to be on a keeper, and he's not going to get much. Malakoff, I think, might have got lucky on a hold that wasn't called, but there wasn't much of a gain. About 3 yards, maybe 4 on the play. Coach X and I are talking through text as this game's being played, and we're just commenting on just how much of a heavyweight slugfest this is. Both teams just blow for blow right now. 2nd down and 6, a long 6. Going to hand off to Hall. To Hicks, and he's going to get the 1st down. Now, the great thing for Malakoff is you've got this long field to work with, and if you can move the ball, you're going to grind out clock. And for Franklin, the great thing is you've got that long field, so you can give up a couple of first downs and still get the ball back in good field position if you're able to force a Malakoff punt. Kind of feels like this drive might end up deciding this game. First down at 10. Jones on the keeper. He gets hit hard. Boy, he is taking some shots. Franklin is just teeing off on him, and you're starting to see him slow down just a little bit. And I was going to say the same thing about Jaden Jackson on that last one. As hard as he was running on that last drive, and he had a touchdown, or the drive before, this last drive, you can kind of see Jaden Jackson. Those hits are starting to kind of wear him down and slow him down. I mean, these two teams, it's a slugfest, folks. This is one of the hardest hitting state championship games in recent memory. 8:48 left in the game. 2nd and 9. Malakoff has the ball and the lead at their own 20. Again, just straight up keeper to Jones. Franklin gets great penetration, but he's able to get across back up to the line of scrimmage. Huge, great job by Mike Jones just getting back to the line of scrimmage, or that would have been a 5-yard loss and would really put Malakoff in a hole. Man, what a great game this has been. 3rd down and 9 for Malakoff here. 8 minutes left in the game. I think you're going to see a timeout by Malakoff right here. They want to talk about this one. You can't get more important than this, folks. Well, Coach X texted me. We'll take a quick timeout right here. Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. Malakoff's going to have a big 3rd down as they come out of this, still in timeout. And you've got to look at it 2 ways for the Tigers. A, you want to get the 1st down. B, you don't want to get overly aggressive and have a turnover here and not only, not get the 1st down, but give Franklin a short field for the chance to tie. So you've got that balance of how aggressive do you want to be. Now, you can be aggressive and just throw the ball down the field and it be a 50-50 ball, and if it's not caught, you punt. But here we're seeing now why Mike Jones was so mad. Jaden Jackson got a face mask that wasn't called. So both teams are just angry right now. That's the way a state championship should be. And here we are, 3rd down and 9. Jones looking to pass, being pressured, trying to escape. He breaks one tackle. He's going to get the 1st down. He's going to dive depending on the spot. And they're going to give him the 1st down. Mike Jones once again Wow. Franklin did everything right there and dives for the first down. Now, again, for Franklin, there's still plenty of time, and Malakoff is still pretty deep in their side of the field at the 30. But, man, that just gave them a big play. Total yards now for Malakoff, 263 yards. Jones looking to pass now, looking deep, nobody open. Now he's looking to roll. Now he's looking, and now he's just going to throw the ball away. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Man, what? Woo. I like both programs. I like both coaches. I love the communities, and I am on edge right here. Not even sure what I'm exactly wanting to happen. It's just so intense between these two. So 2nd down at 10 now with 7:41 left. Blitz look, and it's going to come home and knock Hicks down. Kimbrough with a big tackle for loss right there, and it's going to be 3rd down and long. You can see that blitz coming off down, and he just was able to get past it. So 3rd down and 12 now. So once again, Malakoff needing a big 3rd down conversion, but you also got to walk that line of being careful. Wouldn't shock me to see Mike Jones again drop back, look deep, and if nothing there, tuck it and run. That seems to be working for them so far. Here we go. 3rd down and 12, shotgun. Jones rolling, looking, going to throw the ball, has a man, going to be a 1st down. There were 3 guys right there, and Mike Jones just threw a bullet. Terry Bussey was doing it last night, and Mike Jones is doing it tonight. Let's see if both. Oh, he's out of bounds. They're going to review this. This is going to go back. Oh, he just couldn't get his foot in bounds. Oh, man. And Jaden Jackson almost had that interception, but that's going to be out of bounds. Man, whew. Waiting on the official review with 6:50 left. Barring something we haven't seen or just a blatantly bad call, that's going to be ruled out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass, so it'll be 4th down. 4th down and 12. And this is what I was talking about. Even though Mike Jones had that other 1st down 3 plays ago, and they actually got 2 first downs on this drive, putting them back so deep with that great punt by Lowry allowed you that your defense could give up a couple 1st downs, and yet you still would have Malakoff pinned back, and that's where we are now. You assume Malakoff's going to punt. They're lining up to punt. And there will be a punt. And it's a good punt. A return is on, though. Hidrago's going to take it. Looking for a block. Gets around and gets a nice return. And Franklin's going to have really good field position here. Plenty of time. You got to wonder if Franklin scores, depending on how much time is left, do they go for two? All right, here we go. Franklin right at the 49-yard line. Jackson up the middle for 3 yards and into Malakoff territory. Here we go now. 2nd down and 6. Toss it to Drago, looking for a block. Oh, there's a big face mask that's going to be called. Again, we've got the Class 3A Division II State Championship watch party and preview show right after this one. In fact, as soon as this game ends, I will stop this stream and we'll jump right into that one. And yeah, they missed the face mask against Franklin, but it wasn't as obvious as this one right here. Drago's head just absolutely got wrapped around. Are we having fun yet, folks? Woo. So 5:58 now left in the game. You kind of have a feeling that, well, we'll see here. It's still toss sweep. We got a fumble, and the quarterback's going to get the fumble right there. There is a flag down. I think this is going to be hold, but Franklin, or maybe illegal shift is what Tep says on the broadcast. But we had a fumble that pitched right back to the quarterback. Sorry, I dropped my earbud. I'm listening to an earbud. I hadn't been listening to the broadcast the first couple games I was doing this, and I was missing some contact. So I decided on this one, I put the earbud in so I can hear the broadcast, and then I have the earbud over here so I can hear the sounds of the commercials and all that fun stuff. And that one popped out. All right, 1st down and 15, 5:32 left. I just feel you're going to see a big pass play here at some point. Now they're spreading it all the way out with 4 wides to the left. They're going to try that little bubble to Jackson. He needs a block. He gets it. And he's going to get back up to the original line of scrimmage. Yeah, that looked like that was going to go bigger, and great pursuit by Malakoff right there to make it a 2nd and 11 with 5:20 left. So it'll be 2nd and 11. Franklin with the ball, trailing 14-7. You got to feel you're in 4-down territory at this point. Oh, and then we're going to have movement again by Franklin, and that's going to back it back up 5. So it's going to be 2nd down and 16. Franklin all of a sudden uncharacteristically making some mistakes at key moments. Second down and 16 now, 5:20 left. Going to do a little fake toss to a little counter. Drago has a nice gain up to the 25-yard line. Oh, what a beautifully designed play there. Lowry pitched it over to Jackson, and he inside belly handed it off to Drago. Kind of what Coach Sollers would tell you is kind of like a shitty guard read, but from the running back to the running back instead of the quarterback doing the counter. So 3rd down and 6 now. You know it's 4 down territory. Straight handoff to Jackson on 3rd and 6. He's going to be close to the 1st down depending on the spot. I think they're going to say he's short. I think it's going to be 4th down and about 1. With 4:25 left in the game, 4th down and 1. I'm going to tell you what, how good Malakoff's tackling has been. There's been multiple runs tonight that Jackson looks like he's about to break it. And he's had a great game, 25 carries, 112 yards. But as Greg Tepper saying on the broadcast, he's yet to really break it. Here it is, 4th down and a long 1. Handoff right up the middle, and it's going to be 1st down for Franklin. They keep the chains moving and the times moving as well. 3:53 left in the game. It's coming down to this drive right here, folks. First down at 10 at the 19, about the 18, really. Quick handoff to Hadrago. It looks like he's going to get maybe a yard. And Greg Tepper made a great point on the broadcast. You know, Franklin usually doesn't play behind the chains this much. They're really bailing themselves out, but they're putting themselves into a lot of holes. Like right now, 2nd and 9. That's not a place that you normally want to be if you're Franklin. You're wanting to be at 2nd and 5. And maybe that's why we haven't seen more of the passing attack, because they haven't really been in that 2nd and 5, 50-50 zone. 2nd and 9 now here. Another handoff to Jackson. He's going to kind of leap over and get about 3 yards once again. Third down and 7, 2 down territory. It doesn't get any better than this, folks. This is amazing. 2:10 left in the game. 3rd down and 7. This drive is going to decide it, folks. They're going to fake pitch. Lowry looking to throw. He's just going to have to throw it away, and it's going to be 4th down and 7. Now, one thing, Franklin does have all their timeouts. So if they're not able to make this, they still can get the ball back, but you're going to be talking about at a point where, and now you might have to call a timeout here to talk about it. Here we go, folks. And they better hurry. They only have 10 seconds left on the play clock. Now, they like to get to the line quick. Oh, they gave them an extra 25 on the game clock. They reset it. So here we go. Now we're going to get a timeout from Fannin. Jaden Jackson, Mike Jones, 2 Warriors, both of them you can just tell are gassed right now, trying to find the energy for 1 or 2 more plays. What call do you make if you're Coach Fannin and the offensive staff for Franklin right here? This isn't an offense that's really built to gain 7 yards in one play. What do they have dialed up, folks? I'll be honest. I'm going to straight up give play-by-play on this one. Sorry, UIL. 4th down and 7. If Franklin wants to stay in this game, they've got to convert this. Three for 3 on 4th down today for Franklin. They line up. Quick snap in here coming up. Hidrago goes in motion. They're going to throw the ball. They're going to try a double pass. Throws it into the end zone, and it's going to be incomplete. There's a flag on the play. There's a flag on the play. And it's going to go against Franklin. Malakoff takes over with one. Oh, man. Now, Franklin has 2 timeouts, but a first down will win it. And I got a feeling you're just going to see Mike Jones with a bunch of keepers, and here he goes right up the middle of the first one, going to be down after about a 4.5-yard gain. So a minute 49 left. Again, as soon as this game's over, I'm going to end this stream. We're going to jump over into the other stream for the Gunter Tidehaven game. What an amazing, amazing game we've seen. So much action for a 14-7 score. Here we go. 2nd down. Mike Jones is going to keep it. He's going to get a first down. The Malakoff Tigers are going to win their first state championship. So for the second time in 3 games, you have first-time state champions. Timpson last night, Malakoff today. Of course, Albany won their back-to-back state championships. And for Franklin, an amazing playoff run comes to an end in a state championship game for the first time since 2020. The crazy thing is, folks, is these 2 teams are going to be back next year. And if the intensity of this game says anything, we've got ourselves a budding rivalry. I hope these teams play again. What a great game. You cannot ask for anything better as a third-party fan. This is why Grant and I love to do this, man. Oh, my goodness. So now Malakoff just needs to make sure they handle the snap, put the knee to the ground, and let's run the clock out. Mike Jones is going to actually try to run the ball, and he's going to get another first down. Wow. Now Malakoff will be able to kneel it. And that's going to do it. Malakoff wins their first state championship in an absolute heavyweight fight with Franklin. Malakoff wins 14-7. Congratulations to Jamie Driscoll and the coaching staff, the Malakoff community. It feels good, doesn't it? For Franklin, another great season. They went down like champions do, and they'll be back. Both of these teams will be back, folks. What a great game. We're going to end this thread because we've got to jump into the next one because the way the schedules work, they're going to be running these guys in and out real quick. Up next, Gunner versus Tidehaven. Please turn around and join us for that. We'll be back over there. Malakoff wins their first state championship.